by 10 in the blink of an eye. This is a horse with some real quality, and it does feel like Chad is targeting this one, which will set him up for a nice campaign to likely get to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. On to two other first-time starters that caught my eye. One with a serious pedigree is number 8, Warlander, who's taking no money at all. Not a great sign, but he's by Kitten's Joy, always a good influence on the turf. The Dam's a turf winner. Then if you go back a generation, the second Dam, Wasted Tears, multiple graded stakes winner. Also, she is half to Corniche, your 2-year-old champion a few years ago. This is a big, good-looking customer for Steve Asmussen. I know this is not Steve's gig to win first time out going long on the turf, but this is what this horse is bred for, and it shows physically. He's also pretty sharp. Wouldn't be surprised if we see him prominent early in the running. Another horse that caught my eye is number 1, Flying Mohawk for Whit Beckman. This one by Caraconte, who strikes at 20% with his 2-year-olds and also a very good turf influence. There's also turf on the second generation, as the Dam is half to multiple graded stakes winning turf sprinter. Change of Control. This horse is just very well prepared. He's been the utter professional in the paddock, out on the track. He's really athletic looking and well-defined and fit, and he gets the legendary Frankie Dettori in the irons first time out here. Want to see how he does. He's 12-1. Some horses with experience include number 7, West Beach. He comes out of the same race with the inside runner Simulate. West Beach running very well that day in a merry-go-round affair. No one ever really able to change positions. He looks like he'll love the stretch out and distance, and also the lesser fancied Simulate too. Should appreciate the extra ground. Is number 5, States Rights for Cherie DeVoe, son of Constitution. There's turf in this family, and it shows. This guy has a massive turf hoof. He's also very sharp after not showing that much going 5.5. Look for him, as Cherie said, to be forward in this running, and I think he'll take to the surface change too, Lafitte.
Edge and experience, Maggie, indeed. States Rights. Paulie, you're going with Simulate. Jose Lezcano, 8-1.
Yeah, this is a son of Kitten's Joy out of a Warfront mare. He was no way meant to run 6 furlongs on the turf in his debut. I like him stretching out here at 8-1. I do think the 7 in here, West Beach, ran a very good race first time out. Now Brendan Walsh goes to his main rider, Tyler Gaffalione.
It's exciting. These 2-year-olds, a lot of upside, a lot of potential. First of 12 as Seattle Road backs off, now coaxed forward. These freshmen about to race a 1.16 on the inner turf course, first of 12, Jim Dandy Saturday. Frank Miramati standing by if they can get these 2-year-olds in the gate. We hand things over to Frank. Whoa. Paul, not unexpected for Barricade, a first-time starter by Quality Road. You remember Quality Road wasn't exactly the best actor at the gate either.
Yeah, a lot of people forget Quality Road was a late scratch in the Breeders' Cup Classic after acting up.
We're all set. Frank Miramati standing by.
One more left to load. It's Spurgeon to the outside stall. Right up to the gate. Assistant starter doing a little work with Seattle Road in the gate. We're set. And they're off. Simulate sprints out of the gate. In the center, West Beach and Warlander both have early speed, so it's those 3 pretty much across the course. Best Friend Rocket is racing on the outside of Flying Mohawk, who's 5 lengths off the early tempo. On the hedge, States Rights inside of Spurgeon. Spurgeon moving up while wide, 5 lengths off the lead as they move around that clubhouse turn. Then comes Atomic Age. He is racing a length in front of Barricade, and Seattle Road trails. The opening quarter went in 24 1/5 seconds, and it is Simulate leading the way under Jose Lezcano. Simulate takes him on to the backstretch, in front by a length to Warlander in second. Then it's West Beach third. Best Friend Rocket is fourth, just 3 lengths off the lead. Flying Mohawk is racing in between rivals. Extreme outside Spurgeon and States Rights on the inside of that pair. Then it's Atomic Age, yet to be called on, 7 or 8 lengths off the pace. Seattle Road and Barricade, 51-2 into the far turn for Simulate. Simulate pressed by Warlander, who's just about a neck back in second. Then Best Friend Rocket taking third. West Beach has been comfortably tracking the leaders, will await his turn. Along the inside, has some run at this stage, angling to the outside for the drive, then Flying Mohawk. On the far outside, Atomic Age about 9 lengths off them. Simulate keeps going with Warlander. Simulate, Warlander, another 3 lengths back. States Rights is starting to finish with some nice energy in third, 16th pole. Simulate digging in, Warlander and States Rights. Here is the line. Simulate took them all the way and barely held off States Rights, who finished very nicely. In behind that, a battle between Warlander and West Beach.
Fireworks in the stretch to kick off Jim Dandy Saturday. The Claiborne Homebred Simulate. States Rights hitting the wire simultaneously.
Yeah, got a clean break for Jose Lescano, and he took nothing away from this colt. And he got a stiff challenge from the horse on the outside, the one that Maggie liked, Warlander here for Steve Asmussen. And then the 5 starts to explode in the middle of the racetrack. The 7, everybody coming after the 2. But the 2, the wire comes in time for Jose Lescano, and this horse is full of gusto.
Still full of himself. 8-1, Paulie, on your top selection here. Simulate in a thriller. Big run, States Right. Simulate. Maggie, what a way to kick things off on this big Saturday of racing at the Spa.
Well done, Polly's, for spotting Simulate here. But when he got to walk, going 51 to the half with the rails down on the inner course, on your turf course, that's pretty much all she wrote. A great run here. It's good to see this Claiborne Farm Homebred get to the winner's circle, and a masterclass ride by Jose Lescano, literally walking the dog to get the win here. And I do think it ultimately affected your favored first-time starter in here, Atomic Age, who was well back, hard on the bridle with Flavien Prat aboard, but unable to overcome what was a wide trip behind a slow pace. Lafitte.
Not Atomic Age's day. Simulate takes advantage. 8-1. Paulie, your top selection, 2-5-8-7. Jose Lescano up front. States Rights dove at him late, and the wire getting there just in time for Simulate.
I guess it's better to be lucky than good.
Claiborne Homebred by Kitten's Joy, a champion. Simulate. And the edge and experience over many in here, and what a difference that makes in so many of these 2-year-old races. A horse to just one start, and how much of a difference that can make.
Yeah, both horses that it ran,
Yep.
States Right and Cherie DeVoe's horses, continued to fire at this meet. The 5 ran into that unbelievably slow pace and ran a good second.
Well, this works out nicely. The Claiborne Homebred Simulate. And now, time for today's races, brought to you by Claiborne Farm. 100 years in the usual, unusually well. Race 6, the grade 1, Alfred G. Vanderbilt. The 7th, very good 2-year-old maiden affair, like you just saw moments ago. And the 10th, Jim Dandy, presented by Mohegan Sun. The main track is fast, the turf course is firm. Not telling you the temperature, because there's a weather report in the next block. Haven't signed up just yet? No worries, offer still stands. Sign up, NYRABets.com. Get involved, use that promo code SPOT250. Earn up to a $250 deposit match after your first deposit. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Join now, NYRABets.com, to earn your $250 deposit match. When we return, we will be joined by a 4-time Breeders' Cup winning jockey and much more on the headline affairs, included Sierra Leone. Loads of ability, but quirky, and those excuses running thin. And the champ Fierceness has all the tools. He's brilliant. Consistency, not his strength. Just getting started on Saratoga Live.
Twirling Candy, proving lane's ends, stallion making tradition. Twirling Candy has seen success on the track and sales rate, siring multiple grade 1 winners and millionaires, including Exalted, Beyond Brilliant, Gear Jockey, and reaching 7-figure yearling and 2-year-old sales by the legendary Candy Ride. Twirling Candy, a leader of his generation.
Race Lens is the most in-depth product in horse racing, with unique features found nowhere else. True odds, predictive analysis, and pace projection. Race Lens. It will change the way you follow horse racing and take your game to the next level.
Hey race fans, I'm Fox Weather's Nick Koser. This is your Fox Weather Risk of Weather Impact Report for Saratoga Live. Let's go through the forecast for Saratoga Racecourse, highlighting, of course, the Jim Dandy Stakes at 5:45. For the races before that, temps will be in the middle 80s, and we'll see a little cloud coverage for the Jim Dandy Stakes at 5:45. Partly cloudy, 83 to 81 degrees. And then for 6 and 7 o'clock, we'll eventually fall into the upper 70s, and a little more sunshine will start to sneak through. Anytime you need a forecast before you catch a race, check us out at foxweather.tv. Always on, always free.
Thanks, Nick. If we could bottle this up for the next 5.5 weeks, sign us up. Another postcard kind of setting in upstate New York in Poly. Way to kick off a big day of racing, an 8-1 shot in Simulate. Impressive in victory. The Claiborne homebred turns for home and fends off all challengers.
Yeah, you can see that the 8 was going after him, and then here comes the 5 and the 7. The 5 really explodes here late, and like I was talking, Cherie DeVos horses have been running, but the wire came in time for Simulate. You can see he took a tiny little bobble there before the wire, but just in time.
By about a head. Simulate. Mott, Lascano, doing their thing, 2, 5, 8. First of 12 here at Saratoga, as promised. Now joined by a 4-time Breeders' Cup winning jockey, Rajiv Mirage. And you didn't know we started half an hour early today.
I was here. Don't put it on me.
Some technical difficulties. Rajiv, great to have you on set. So I guess the same question I asked Paul, what will the headline in racing be tonight after the Jim Dandy? What will the story be?
Sierra Leone puts it all together and runs by his rival in the stretch, and seemingly is the expected winner or the favorite for the Travers.
What do you think the biggest difference will be? Why today for Sierra Leone?
Well, today it's a much smaller, compact field, which when you're trying to navigate through traffic, it's a lot easier in a small field. Sierra Leone is expected to drop well off a hot pace. The race is just, everything is coming together and setting up perfectly for him. Hot, expected, contested early pace.
So, you know about the horses and the storylines going into the Jim Dandy. Now let's go by the numbers. First run in 1964, named after the shocking 1930 Travers winner, who was fastest. Louis Couture's in 96, blazing 9 furlongs at 147.26. Most wins by an owner. The number is 3, including Flower Alley's owner, Eugene Melnick. Leading trainer, Todd Pletcher with 7, working on an 8th with Fierceness. Jockeys who've dominated the Dandy. Eddie Maple, Jerry Bailey, Johnny V, 4 wins apiece. What about the sweep? Jim Dandy and Travers, 12 have done it. Like Fierceness, Essential Quality, a champion. Speaking of which, Jim Dandy winning champions, the number is 7. Most recent, Epicenter, 2022. Rare and Elite. Jim Dandy winners named Horse of the Year. Only 4. Conquistador, Cielo, the latest. 1982, and finally, Jim Dandy winners in the Hall of Fame. Only 2. Affirmed Arts and Letters, inducted in 1980 and 94. The Jim Dandy by the numbers. So much history, so much tradition, and another look at the field for today's Jim Dandy, presented by Mohegan Sun, 6 deep, featuring a Preakness winner, a champion, and a star-crossed favorite. They wouldn't come to us, so we went to them. Let's meet the field. Number 1, Sierra Leone. Bottom line, he needs a W. Both of you think he'll get it.
Yeah, listen, he needs to break out of the gate a little bit better. Second time Flavian Pratt, I think that's huge. And everything Rajiv said, I think the race sets up for him too. And I also think he's the best horse.
Trainer Chad Brown looking for a first Jim Dandy, as well as that first Travers eventually. Number 2, here's Seize the Gray, Preakness winner, 7th place finish in the Belmont Stakes.
Didn't match up his Preakness win in the Belmont last time. But one thing I like about this horse, he broke through with a triple-digit buyer, controlling the pace in the Preakness. But also in the Pat Day Mile prior to that, it was a fast pace in front of him, and he managed to come from off the pace and won.
Terrific feature. Wayne Lucas, Jamie Torres on today's Fox broadcast. Number 3, Batten Down, the Ohio Derby winner.
Yeah, starting to come into his own, right? Wins the Ohio Derby, won his maiden special weight by the great damn Close Hatches, who was a tremendous runner. Maybe this horse is on the upside. We'll see.
Judd Bunt, homebred, as you mentioned, Rockstar Pedigree. Number 4, Pony Express, California Invader, the dark horse.
Has been progressing nicely, improving, which leaps and bounds in every race. Now dives into the deep end. And John Sadler, the trainer of Flightline, he would not be taking this horse across the country to race in this big race if he didn't think he had a real good chance.
Very interesting, his presence in this Jim Dandy. Number 5, Gould's Gold, the runner-up to Batten Down in the Ohio Derby.
Yeah, team Mystic Dan, same owners as well. And Gould's Gold has kind of progressed. I can't believe he got beaten the Sir Barton by Corporate Power, but Corporate Power came back and ran well.
That Ohio Derby's strong.
Yeah.
Strong race. Fierceness, highly decorated champion, back at Saratoga where it all started.
There's no doubt that this horse is just a superstar talent, potentially the best of his crop. However, he's an in and outer, and he went into the Kentucky Derby. He was the favorite because of all that he's done, and deservingly so, but he needs to show that again, and that was a poor performance, but he has a good race in him.
If you're John Velasquez, is it take no prisoners right from the start, regardless of the style and speed of other horses in the race? Is it simply pedal to the metal?
I don't necessarily think so. I think coming off a long layoff, it would almost be suicidal if you went too fast early. And he has a perfect outside post where he can be tactical. I do believe that he does not want to be in tight and crowded, which is why the outside post is the best post for him that he has today.
You heard about, putting your money where your mouth is. Paul's so confident, going to do just that to try to inflate the bankroll in the Jim Dandy.
Yeah, I had double bets, basically. What I did is I'm going to put 500 to win on Sierra Leone, and I'm hoping that the horse goes off at about 4 to 5, somewhere in that area, and then you can get $400. If he goes off at 3 to 5, I'm okay with that. Then you get back $300 because I also played a pick 3, starting with Sierra Leone, ending with the 4 and the 10 in the last. That is a $400 ticket. So trying to hedge, even though that if Sierra Leone wins, hopefully at 4 to 5, then this ticket would basically be free.
It's going to be your day. Off to a great start. Like a $20 winner, $18 winner in the first. Way to get that momentum going. Looking to inflate that bankroll and lots of confidence in Sierra Leone. A little bit later on this evening in the Jim Dandy presented by Mohegan Sun. And that's where you can watch it this evening. We're on the mothership today. Fox Saratoga Saturday, week 2, the Jim Dandy Grade 1 Vanderbilt headline the coverage. Fox Saratoga Saturday, all get started at 3 Eastern. When we come back, much more from Saratoga. As you just saw, he's tied for another record at the Spa. Jim Dandy wins by a jockey. 4 thus far. Johnny Velasquez to pilot Fierceness in the 61st Jim Dandy.
They say breed the best to the best and hope for the best.
Macoma broke well on the outside and is.
But you don't expect to get speed like this.
It is Macoma, the one to catch. Macoma has a 5-length lead in this Grade 1 quarter. Inside, Macoma continues to battle on down at the rail. It is Macoma who's going to win the Met Mile.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With Naira Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with Naira Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at nairabets.com.
Who's in for Mohegan? Obviously everyone. We're off to the races, and it's you for the win. A moment of calm before the dark and stormy. High score, one more, dance floor. Who needs skill when you have style? And feeling like it's the best time ever? Smile. Apps, crafts, and nightcaps? Yes. Then it's down for the thread count to start it all again tomorrow. This is how it feels when you're all in for Mohegan. Mohegan Sun.
Complexion. Phoebe in Wonderland.
Gallivant asserts herself.
Poppy Flowers putting in a late burst here.
Poppy Flower with the momentum.
Initially known as the Kenilworth Cup, the Man of War Cup is a solid gold trophy awarded to the winner of the Travers Stakes, or Midsummer Derby. Commissioned by Abe Orpin, co-owner and manager of Kenilworth Park in Windsor, Ontario, the trophy was created by Tiffany & Company in 1920 for the match race between Man of War and Triple Crown winner Sir Barton. Man of War won the contest by 7 lengths and drank from the cup in the winner's circle. In 1936, Samuel's wife, Elizabeth, donated the cup to Saratoga Racecourse. That same year, Granville became the first Travers winner to receive what is known now as the Man of War Cup. Each year, the original trophy is presented by a member of the Riddle family or the governor or lieutenant governor of New York to the winner of the track signature event. A smaller gold-plated replica of the Man of War Cup or Travers Trophy inscribed with the winner's name is prepared for the winning connections to commemorate one of the most prestigious victories in the sport. So much goes into making it, and so much goes into winning it. The Man of War Cup, Travers in 4 weeks, all part of the tradition, as is the painting of the canoe. Arcangelo colors for another month or so. Champion Arcangelo, what a story last year's Travers winner. Welcome back, Saratoga Live. Jim Dandy Day. Race 2 is next. Updated odds, New York bred maiden, 7/8 of a mile. And Tinny Barr, who is the favorite at 9-5. Over to Maggie in the paddock. Race 2, paddock report.
And Livy, that's right where we'll start with number 5, Tinabar here, as he's making his second start and wasn't in the paddock for his first race, so don't know how he was acting, don't know what he looked like. But what I see here is a son of Arrogate that's actually a little bit on the smaller side than what you typically get from that sire. He is incredibly fit and well-defined today and is acting like a true professional, like he's done this more than once before. And by all reports, including the DRF Clocker report, he's been working incredibly well down at Belmont Park on the training track for Bill Mott and his team. In fact, the work 3 back with the 59 in 2, he was gliding and out in 1:13 for the 6 furlongs. So definitely hinting at a horse that has moved forward from that first start. A race in which we saw the pace kind of come apart a bit. So I think he will be forward again in here. It's just hopefully he can sustain it. As we'll move on to first-time starters, including number 6. That is Nunzio for Michelle Giangiulio, son of Malibu Moon, and another horse that, according to the Clocker reports, has been working very well. There's a lot of this horse, and I think 7 furlongs is the right distance to begin him at, given the fact that he has had some quick work, so he probably has some natural speed, but also wants a bit of distance as he is quite tall, scopy, leggy, a touchscreen. I want to watch how he behaves out on the racetrack, but they got the tack on him with no problem. I really think there's some ability with this horse. He really spiked my curiosity when handicapping this race on paper, but then it was compounded when he walked into the paddock. Now, Charlie Baker will send out 2 horses in here. I actually don't mind his comeback horse, Executive Move, who comes out of a loaded maiden special weight New York bred field as a 2-year-old. He's taking absolutely no money. The horse that is Charlie's first-time starter in number 8, Crescendo's Reign, a son of Not This Time, who is just so potent with his first-time starters, no matter if it's a 2 or a 3-year-old on any surface as well. And there's some pedigree with this horse, especially when you go back a generation. The second dam was Cuff Me, multiple stakes winning New York bred dirt sprinter. This guy pretty laid back in the paddock. Maybe he needs a race for that proverbial light bulb to go on, but is an athlete, and he looks incredibly fit coming in here for Charlie, who's looking to get things going. It's been a slow year so far, but there's no doubt in my mind, Lafitte, that he is an excellent horseman.
No question. Let's see if he can get things going with Crescendo's Reign. 8-1 shot in the first race. Why not a 10-1 shot here in a first-time starter, Crescendo's Reign? Riders up, Post Parade Brewing. Tinny Bar, who is the favorite, at 2-1. Paul, how'd you see this one unfolding?
I think Rajiv and I are on the same pace here. We both like the 5. Now, Ironman Ira is a horse that, has had a couple chances and has been clear in the stretch and has been run down. That does not happen a lot with a lot of Dutro runners. This horse lost at 90 cents on the dollar. I do get it. Ironman Ira could get to the front end in here. But Rajiv, I know you and I both like the 5.
Yeah, the 5 Tinny Bar is going to be my top pick. And if you look at this race, Ironman Ira, he gets caught in the late stages after doing most of the dirty work and just losing at the end. This was a good run for him. And today he cuts back a furlong, which I think is going to help him. So he's a legitimate top contender in the race. There's not much separating the top horses, but what I love about Tinny Bar, why I picked him, was that he's only had 1 race under his belt, and he was supposed to get tired. That was at a mile. It's a tough distance to debut. He was close to the pace, and I feel like he's just going to progress like most of the stable's runners do in their second start out.
Solid debut. He was bet. Reason to expect improvement. Mott Alvarado looking to sweep the early double. Playing our song, Call to Post. Let's meet the field. New York bred maidens and Leo's Reward, Funky Monkey Stable, first-time starter.
Yeah, Johnny Velasquez here and David Donk gets Lasix for his debut here, and right now at 7-1.
Executive Move, 3-year-old debut.
Yeah, hasn't run since last December. Comes in gelding for the first time and Lasix for the first time. Those 2 things can move up a horse.
Ironman Ira by a Jim Dandy winner, Laoban.
Irad Ortiz, Richard Dutro team up for this one. That's why this horse is 5-2.
Number 4, Twirling Vine with Handsome Cousin, Romero Mirage.
Has had 11 starts, hasn't been able to win, but he has 5 third-place finishes, and so it's a horse that typically runs a good race at this level.
No pushback on the Handsome Cousin part?
I'm accepting it right now.
Tinny Bar, the favorite at 2-1.
Yeah, went off his second choice last time out and should progress, like Rajiv said, in the second start. The barn is about 14% in this move, but Mott's barn has been rolling.
Nunzio, Maggie liked what she saw in the paddock. There he is, Kendrick Carmouche aboard.
Yeah, interesting. Comes in for a strong barn, strong combination, and a horse that looks like has some quality.
6-1. Sorority Prank, number 7, 11 race maiden, cuts back in distance.
Yeah, another horse that's shown speed going longer distances, but has tried the maiden 40 and couldn't get the job done. I thought an outsider, although the horse is getting bet here at 9-2.
And going back to the main track, Sorority Prank, then the first-time starter Maggie was just discussing, and Crescendo's Reign and Joel Rosario.
a horse that I can see people making a case for because he has some good pedigree, precocious pedigree, and just not. I think I would like to take a wait and see approach for this one, making its debut.
Look at that crowd. What a day. Just getting started. Race number 2. Who's ready to graduate? These New York bred maidens. You're looking at number 3, Ironman Ira, 5-2 second choice. Laoban, his sire. 8 years already, Paulie, since his sire literally stole the 2016 Jim Dandy with Jose Ortiz at 29-1. Come and catch me if you can, and they couldn't.
Yeah, you know, when I remember watching this race, it looked like he was going to get put away, and he ended up going away from these horses. Even on the gallop out, he kept on going, and kind of Laoban's coming out party. I always loved the silks.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of JK shirts.
Maybe that was the inspiration, the influence. Jose Ortiz, big smile. That has to be fun, Rajiv, especially in a bigger race when you go out there and just pick everyone else's pocket.
You know, we're athletes at being a jockey, but we're also performers. And when it's the biggest race of the day, like the Jim Dandy, on such a big stage, we want to perform and put on a good show. And I feel like when you win, you feel like you've accomplished something.
How much more fun was it to win those types of races when you weren't expected to win those types of races?
Winning, whether you expected it or not, it's always fun. But, you know, it's great to get that pleasant surprise that you don't expect.
Do you think you get those pleasant surprises because, you know, I've asked many jockeys this, there's more pressure on you when you're 3-5 than when you're 27-1. So when you get those pleasant surprises, do you take more chances and then you find a hole here and there on the rail or this and that?
Yeah, so you're more prone to taking some risk because the expectations are lower, right?
Yeah.
So even if it doesn't work out, when you step outside the box, it's not that detrimental. Because if you step outside the box riding a favorite and it doesn't work out for you, you face some heavy criticism.
Yeah.
Rod Ortiz there aboard Ironman Ira. Another look at the first-time starter, Leo's Reward, circling back to Tinabar if we can, and for Hall of Famer Bill Mott, the start of what could be a very productive afternoon, a victory in the first race, and now remaining the rest of the afternoon from Baby Yoda, 7-2, serious contender in the Grade 1 Vanderbilt, and batten down, Paul, later on in the Jim Dandy as well. We're around his birthday. When we get close to his birthday at Saratoga, you know what happens.
He gets dangerous, yeah. Baby Yoda is going to be interesting in the Vanderbilt. We'll see how Skelly breaks. I think that's going to be key in there. He's got many chances today. And the thing about Bill Mott is he's the kind of guy, when you look, he doesn't win with a lot of 3-5, 2-5. He wins with a lot more 4 to 8 to 1 shots than you think.
And Baby Yoda will be ridden by Eric Kensell. Amazing in its own right. Involved in that ugly spill yesterday. He's good to go, riding, and a date with Baby Yoda in the Grade 1 Vanderbilt. We check in with Maggie.
We'll take a look at the current second choice, and that's Ironman Ira. I know he's had his chances, but I think this is a Goldilocks horse, and that 6 is too short, miles too far, 7's just right. I've been waiting for him to turn back in distance. He looks fantastic, as he typically does, and he's moving really well. Where I was gonna pick Tinabar, and then after watching the warm-ups, I was just pushed away from him onto Ironman Ira. So we'll see what he does here. I know his chances are kind of adding up as number 2, Executive Move. As I said, I know he's one of the rank outsiders in this field, but this horse looks exceptionally well. And like I said, Doc Sullivan, Allied Attack, Lil Lang. I know some of those have come back and won on the turf, but it's a pretty useful race. And I don't want to label it a key race, but there's been some talent to come out of there. And I know he didn't do much running, but it was over a sealed, muddy racetrack in which he was kind of sent away for a position, but he was never saving ground. He was always out in no man's land, and then he just kind of got tired, and obviously maybe an issue arose out of that. He does come back wearing the front wraps, but watching him move over the racetrack, he looks phenomenal. Just really fluid in his movement. Another first-time starter. He comes from the Dave Donk barn, and number 1, Leo's Reward. There really isn't much pedigree to report home on, but it does look as though this is an athlete, and I like the way that he's put together. He's well prepared physically, mentally, he strikes me as one that needs to be educated, and that's typically, as we do have late scratch here. Yeah, number 8, Crescendo's Reign is a late scratch. He just never really got moving well behind. So Charlie Baker left with his long shot that, like I said, I do like. We'll see Leo's Reward, though. Typical of Dave Donk, I just think this is more of a learning experience, Lafitte.
Charlie Baker still with a puncher's chance, executive move, number 2, but for Crescendo's Reign, we'll have to wait for another day. There's Joel Rosario, Crescendo's Reign, a late scratch. And how does that process work, Raj? A lot of viewers that might not follow horse racing on a day-to-day basis, a late scratch, a late defection. How does the communication work between jockey, vet, etc.?
If a horse goes out on the track and it's not moving 100% fluently for the jockey, he can bring it to the attention of the veterinarian who observes it and decides to withdraw the horse or not. And this was, I believe, the case here with Crescendo's Reign.
Better safe than sorry, naturally. Crescendo's Reign will have to wait for another day to make that debut, as the horses will be getting behind that starting gate as we have reached post time. New York bred maiden, 7/8, and a purse of 90,000. Go ahead, Paul.
Rosario looks lonely walking back. What is that like? Like he's got a smiley face on. I'm wondering if that smiley face is going to go to the frown.
He's trying to be a hitchhiker. He's trying to hitch a ride back because it's a far walk coming back to this jocks room. So one of the things that usually happens whenever we have a scratch behind the gate is we try to jump in either the ambulance that's waiting behind the gate to bring the jockeys back, or try to hitch a ride with the veterinarian truck. Because it'll take a long time to walk all the way back from the backside there. Look, he's probably trying to pick up a golf cart ride from someone.
Maybe he's getting his steps in. Has he got his Apple Watch on?
Yeah.
I'm looking. He has time. He doesn't ride the third or anything.
He's going to go underneath the rail.
The Silks is definitely smiling more than he is.
He was having a nice day, but won't have a chance to ride the first-time starter Crescendo's Reign. 3-2 now. Tinabar, Raj, what are we looking for early on?
Well, he showed natural speed going a mile last time, and now it's a shorter distance, so this pace might be a bit quicker. I expect that he'll be close to the pace, but not on the lead, because Ironman Ira has been notorious for going to the lead. Tinabar has a perfect post outside of him, and I believe also Sorority Prank should be forwardly placed as well. So I expect to be sitting about third in the coveted pocket trip behind a duel of Sorority Prank and Ironman Ira, and then tip out to the outside. Very similar to the race that he won Junior Valder run yesterday for Billy Mott on the grass.
Mott looking to sweep the early double. Tinabar the favorite. Frank Miramati with the call. Post-time race 2 from the Spa.
They're in the gate. And a restless runner there. It looked like Ironman Ira. And they're off. Sorority Prank is quick. So is Ironman Ira, who comes to challenge in second. Tinabar third in the early going. And then it's Nunzio racing in fourth. Down at the rail, Leo's Reward moving up, followed by Executive Move, and another 4 back to Twirling Vine. The lead belongs to Sorority Prank, who's sprinting at a rapid rate. Ironman Ira is suddenly 3 lengths back in second. Then Tinabar joined at the rail by Leo's Reward, the opening quarter in a snappy 22 3/5 seconds. Moving into the far turn, Sorority Prank 2-length lead. Tinabar now makes his move after him, and it's a bold one too. Here comes Tinabar to challenge. Nunzio now racing in third, following Tinabar around the far turn. Another 3 lengths back to Leo's Reward. Ironman Ira just dropping right out of it. No fight from him today as they come toward the quarter pole. It's Sorority Prank, Tinabar, and Nunzio on the outside as they reach the top of the stretch. Sorority Prank digging in. Tinabar took a shot at him, but is 3 lengths behind in second. Out in the center of the track, Executive Move is starting to pick up some momentum as Nunzio takes up the chase on Sorority Prank. Sorority Prank a length and a half. Nunzio in his debut means business, and he collars him at the 16th pole. It will be Nunzio. Nunzio wins pretty easily. Second goes to Sorority Prank. Executive Move finished nicely, and Twirling Vine a distant fourth.
Kendrick Carmouche, Nunzio, 7-1, strikes in his debut in the second Jim Dandy Day at Saratoga.
Well, it really didn't matter, right? Sorority Prank just outbroke everybody, put Iron Man Ira to bed, and Tinabar just had nothing left, and the last horse standing was the 6th, Nunzio, the first-time starter, who's going to run down Sorority Prank here, and this is a nice effort here at 7-1.
A very impressive debut and professional, because he took some dirt, tracked off the pace early, and was able to get in gear and pass his rivals. Very disappointing run from Tinabar, who had a perfect trip. Everything the way it expected to unfold, and just didn't have anything for the stretch.
Ironman Ira backed out of it as well right here. Nunzio, Maggie had touched on that he looked still very inexperienced. He had no experience, but green, right? Had a lot of maturing to do. You saw some of that in the stretch, but also touched on the ability, the upside moving forward. Nunzio, the fact that he did a solid performance, he has the ability, and only going to get better, Paul, as he continues to figure things out.
There you see Michelle, she's excited too. Kendrick Carmouche gave the old Derek Jeter when he won that race. It had to be satisfying. I love Kendrick. He gave a little bit of the celebration, but listen, Michelle does a great job with her horses, and she got this first-time starter ready to roll today.
Joe Hinkhouse, homebred, debuting colt by Malibu Moon. Kendrick Carmouche, he's always smiling, Rajiv, but yeah, after a win here at Saratoga, whenever it's a Kendrick moment, when Kendrick wins, everybody wins.
Yeah, he's just got that great attitude, and on a day like today, you feel it, the intensity in the crowd. So many people, and you feed off the crowd, and I feel like that makes the jockey even more excited when you win on a big day.
Yesterday, early on, dirt races, it was everything inside. It was everything on the rail. Not the case here. As Nunzio charges past the leader, 6-7-2-4 results. When we come back, plus a look ahead to the Vanderbilt. Steve Asmussen, 4-time Vanderbilt winning trainer, looking for a 5th with Skelly. His Grade 1 debut in the Alfred G. Vanderbilt.
Introducing a stallion as top class as they come. In 22 career starts, he won or placed in 12 graded stakes, competing in 15 grade ones, earning over $1.7 million. His undisputed speed is evidenced by 7 100-plus buyer speed figures, a 3-time grade 1 winner, Raging Bull.
Introducing the Caesars Racebook app, the ultimate destination for racing enthusiasts. Built on the trusted NyraBets platform, you can watch and wager on over 300 racetracks worldwide, including Saratoga. And the best part? Every bet earns you exciting reward credits that can be redeemed for your next bet, hotel stays, dining, and more. Get started today and receive a $150 sign-up bonus. Download the Caesars Racebook app and embrace the thrill of horse racing.
Between the 2021 and 2022 Saratoga sales, we have 5 horses in the making that are serious stallion prospects. Kings Barnes, who is a graduate of the sale, winner of the Louisiana Derby in his 3-year-old year, backed up that success as a 4-year-old this year by winning the Stephen Foster, and is no doubt one of the top horses in the older handicap division in North America. But we also had National Treasure, a simply scintillating 3-year-old winner of the Preakness Stakes, backed that up with an effort in the Pegasus World Cup this year, and then in a historic performance with the Met Mile at the Belmont at Saratoga meeting. National Treasure asserted himself as a top older horse as well. So for the Saratoga sale, the 2021 edition, to produce those horses who were not only fantastic 3-year-olds, but have continued on with good success as a 4-year-old, they are no doubt horses that we're going to be reading about and hearing about. Stallion making candidates. This is why you have to be at the Saratoga sale.
Welcome back to the program at Saratoga Live on Jim Dandy Day, and we are proudly brought to you by Claiborne Farm. Hey, they won their first race with the homebred, but it was another homebred here in today's second race for Joe Hinkhouse and Michelle Giangiulio. Nunzio, he graduates. He took a second to get going. Michelle, I'll start with you, but a horse that you said had shown so much promise. As a 2-year-old, you had to be patient, and boys, it paid off.
Yeah, it sure has. It's been a long time coming. I've had him for about almost a whole year. And we had some issues as a 2-year-old and had so much promise in this horse, had so much faith, and he's such a big horse, so it definitely takes him a little bit to get going, but I knew he had all the talent in the world. I wasn't sure if we were 100% fit here, which shows me this horse has a lot of talent.
It feels like he'll really move forward from this effort too.
Yeah, I definitely want to try a little more ground with him as well. I think he's just going to get better and better.
Joe, how exciting is this? A homebred, you got to lead him into the winner's circle, and he looks like he has so much promise.
Well, thanks. I mean, it's amazing to win one here at Saratoga. I mean, all wins are great, but to win at Saratoga is the best. And Michelle deserves all the credit. The horse has had some challenges, but she and her team put it all together, so I'm really appreciative of that.
You had a pretty rowdy crowd here in the winner's circle, too. It was a very popular win.
Yeah, it was my daughter's boyfriend's friend's bachelor party. So there were quite a few supporters today.
It always helps to have friends. Guys, congratulations. Really nice New York bred here.
Thank you.
All right, Nunzio graduates in emphatic fashion in his debut, Lafitte.
Lots to be excited about with him moving forward. Nunzio, 1780. Michelle Giangiulio, who won her first race at Saratoga a few years back in a stakes race with Seafoam. What a moment that was. Kendrick Carmouche. It's been tough early on, gentlemen, with an 8-1 shot that you like, Paulie, in the opener, and now a 7-1 shot. Race number 2 might be that kind of afternoon.
Yeah, and I kind of think Speakeasy is, could be vulnerable a little bit. And if they beat that horse, if they beat this entry here, now the 7 Master of Arms was a late scratch. I did not have this horse to scratch, but if they beat this entry here, this pick 5 could be a lot, Rajiv.
Oh, it's already going to be having a good payout. And one of the great things about every race at Saratoga, it's competitive, right? The races are very competitive, and you can make a case for about any horse in the race. So this is what causes these big payouts and these good values in these races.
Competitive indeed. A $25,000 claimer next, 7/8 of a mile. We'll have about 18 minutes out. As Paul mentioned, that favored entry, even money, Market Alert, and Amundsen. While we have a moment, let's rewind the clock. 3 Chimneys this week in history. Just 4 years ago, Volatile in the Vanderbilt. Paul, like nobody was here to appreciate it, pandemic, but he was awesome.
Very, very fast. Colt was Volatile, and always love a good gray streaking in the wire. But yeah, you can see Ricardo Santana, a little pump there. He was a fast horse, and you're right. Steve just produces all these unbelievable sprinters. It's just insane. But yeah, it was a shame. Like, listen, we lived in a world where we had to stay at home, and a lot of us and a lot of you guys kept everybody happy during those times.
We were very fortunate to be able to be distracted, watch horse racing, and for the racing to continue here at Saratoga. And Rajiv, for Asmussen, the sprinters he's campaigned over the years, a 4-time Vanderbilt winner, like that doesn't even include Matoli on that list. But yeah, the all-time leader, and looking to pad his stats this afternoon, is Asmussen with Skelly. who was defeated in a solid effort in the Aristides by a good horse at Churchill Downs, Raj. But part of the issue was the fact that this was a third consecutive race where Skelly struggled to get out of the gate.
Yeah, and speed is the name of his game, but the one chink in his armor is, even though he's so fast, his initial jump leaving the gate isn't as quick, and it takes him a while to get going, but once he gets in gear, he is lightning fast. You can't give up any advantage in races of this caliber, and if he's going to brake and brake slowly and have to make a fast move to get to his position, that might be emptying the gas tank, and he's going to be running on fumes late.
As good as he is, Paul, you know, he did run in a multi-million-dollar race overseas in the Mideast and ran well. But this is his Grade 1 debut. And to expand on what Raj was discussing, yeah, he's been able to get over that poor break against the competition he's faced. He cannot make that mistake today.
No, he can't. You know, with Baby Yoda, Nakatomi, I think, has got a very good shot. Subrogate is very, very fast. And everybody's thinking, okay, is that loading last will help? You know, at the end of the day, sometimes getting out of the gate has to do something with the backside. And you could tell Skelly, and if you look at the workout reports, he's been known for this. He's a horse that makes noise in the morning. He does. I've actually watched him work out. You can hear him work. He actually makes a ton of noise, which is actually unreal that the horse can not all the way breathe and he's that fast. I mean, because to me, he's like probably the fastest horse when it comes to a half a mile. If he breaks sharp, he can cut under 43. I honestly think he can, and when that happens, the race is over. But when he gets left and has to rush, I'm wondering if he gets left, if Ricardo decides to sit instead of rush and see what happens then.
It'll be tough to make that call if that happens. Team Skelly hoping he gets out of the gate clean this afternoon. He's the favorite. And then, Raj, the rapidly improving Subrogate here. And even though he has a bad habit, this is an awfully talented ascending sprinter.
His campaign this year has been flawless. He's had 3 races, and they've all gotten progressively better, and they're all victories, and he's ascending up the class ladder. The one thing about him is, if you see him here, he doesn't shift over to his right lead. And what that means is that it's like a car that has 5 gears, but if he can't get out of 4th gear. He needs to transition over to his right lead so he can shift to that next level. In order for him to win this race, he cannot give up that advantage of just running to 4th gear. He has to go to top capacity. These are the best of the best Grade 1 horses, and if he doesn't transition over, I think that's what ultimately could be his flaw that causes him this race.
Subrogate, what this race can mean moving forward. Last year, Elite Power pictured. He and Gunite ran 1-2 in the Vanderbilt. They ran 1-2, but Gunite got him in the Forgo. They ran 1-2 in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Voting, year-end honors, top 2 sprinters in the nation. Paulie, this race does have those types of year-end championship implications, potentially.
No, it does. I mean, Skelly's always been that type of horse that I always thought if Steve would space out his runnings, he could have let up. But you know what? He loves Oaklawn. And Steve has always told me, like, I'm going to take all the money I can out of Oaklawn. And he has. The last 2 years, he's won every single race at Oaklawn. So you can't blame him. But at the end of the day, we're now sitting here in late July. Is he the same horse that he was at Oaklawn at the beginning of that meet? And when he made his comeback, it was in hand. Then his next race was scary. Now his last 3 races, is he raced too much already?
Taxing campaign all the way to Saudi Arabia. It hasn't been a bunch of Grade 1 races, but a lot of racing, a lot of traveling. See about Skelly in the Vanderbilt. And whose withers will that blanket be draped over after the Grade 1 Vanderbilt? We'll find out this evening on Fox. And for Rod Ortiz, he was aboard Elite Power last year to win the Grade 1 Vanderbilt as he continues his torrid meet this summer at Saratoga. 3 wins yesterday and prime for a big Saturday. You're watching Saratoga Live.
Nothing stood in his way. War of Will won the Preakness.
At the line, War of Will, that's a photo for the win.
Carry down, middle down, middle down, 4 down, there, middle down, 4 down, 400,000 to back. Thank you.
War of Will, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With Naira Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with Naira Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at NairaBets.com.
It's amazing. I mean, we're used to having horses in claiming races, and here we're at the undercard of the Belmont.
And they're off in the Woody Stevens, and here's Bookham Dano, who has blown by them all. Bookham Dano, Prince of Monaco in between. It's going to get very close. Bookham Dano!
Winning on New York's most important day of racing. I can't. That was awesome. He's the best.
The spirit of Bushido. Courage. Respect. Integrity and honor. With honesty and sincerity, we hone our spirit to a winning edge. The way of Bushido runs straight and true. The soul of racing.
Anything that had to do with racing really started with the direct contributions of African Americans. First Kentucky Derby winner was ridden and trained by African Americans. They were more than just the riders. They were the trainers, they were the owners. So around the time that we started the Ed Brown Society, the timing was sort of right. The industry as a whole has been willing to have those conversations.
So while I'm watching the Derby, I see someone who looks like me who's owning a Derby horse and is about to run in one of the most prestigious races in the world. So once I saw that, I had to reach out, and that was when I decided that this is something that I think could be a path to help me get exposure into the industry.
So we go partner with schools. We find the students who are interested in doing something ag or equine related, and we partner up with the particular track.
So the classes I'm taking right now are equine health and diseases, as well as thoroughbred investments, thoroughbred law. So really trying to get a collective overview of the industry operations and trying to learn as much as I can about how to be productive and contribute to this industry.
My grandfather owned a horse that ran in the Kentucky Derby, but due to the racial injustice at the time, he was unable to be listed as an owner or to attend the Kentucky Derby. So for Necker Island to bring that back home a generation later was a surreal moment. It's a moment that will be hard to top, but hopefully we can get back and bring other African Americans to the Kentucky Derby as well.
We look up one day, 5 or 10 years from now, a lot of our graduates out of the Ed Brown Society are working at horse tracks in significant roles, and they are in turn hiring other African American and minority interns to come work under their employment. I think that we'll look at that as a success.
Great stuff, important cause. The Ed Brown Society and the New York Racing Association have created a new partnership to fund nonprofit opportunities in New York State. With more, we welcome Acacia Clement to the broadcast.
And Lafitte, I'm very pleased to be joined by Greg Harbut, the chairman of the Ed Brown Society. And Greg, I know you have a history in racing as well. Just give us a little run through about the Ed Brown Society and why it's so important in this sport.
Well, the Ed Brown Society was created to celebrate the rich contributions of African Americans in the sport, but more importantly, to create opportunities for students of color, either through internships and educational opportunities as well as scholarships, to provide opportunities in this great industry that we're all happy to be a part of.
And we've seen some wonderful individuals go through the program as well so far. Now the partnership with Naira. Tell us a little bit about that.
Very excited about the partnership with Naira. We officially formulated around this time last year. Dave O'Rourke and Joy Gardner have been great individuals to collaborate with. We've been able to really get inside the New York area and formulate relationships with the different colleges, and we've identified around 4 to 6 individuals that we're very excited to get them connected with NYRA and internships that hopefully ultimately lead to direct employment.
Well, we're very excited about that and about the partnership. Thank you, Greg, for all that you do.
Thank you.
Lafitte?
Such an important cause, Acacia. Excited about the new partnership, Ed Brown Society and the New York Racing Association. Race 3 in about 6 minutes, $25,000 claimer, 7/8 of a mile. A key scratch, a late scratch here, Paulie, and a Master of Arms, a defection.
Yeah, the 7 I did not have out of this race till maybe about 45 minutes ago, I guess. I mean, I looked down, I'm like, wow, that was my top pick. I actually thought Master of Arms had a big shot, but late scratch out of here. So I moved over to the 6 in here for Mike Maker. I do think the entry is going to be very, very tough in here, but I do think the 6 Perfect Flight. Mike Maker keeps claiming these horses for Flying P Stables, and they keep on winning. Blinkers go on. Ramon Vasquez. I think they're going to be aggressive with the 6.
Jay Provenzano, Flying P Stable. Several trips to the winner's circle in the first couple weeks plus at Saratoga. Mike Maker off to a good start. We've seen that in the last several summers. Raj, why is Market Alert and Amundsen the favorite, such an overwhelming favorite?
Well, first of all, you get 2 for the price of 1, right? If you really like the number 1A Amundsen, and he doesn't show up with his race, he's won 3 races in a row, so that makes him the favorite. But you do have a little backup plan with Market Alert, who isn't a bad horse. In his own right, he would be about a double-digit odds in here. But the real part of the entry that's taking all the money is the 1A, going for 3 wins in a row, and the highest buyer last race buyer speed figure of anyone in this group today.
Yeah, if you like racehorses that just win a lot, that's Amundsen. The 8-year-old gelding now in his 39th career start, a 14-time winner, and in a rhythm right now, and there he is looking for a 4th straight victory. Flavien Prat in the saddle.
Yeah, he's the main part of the entry, although you're not getting any slouch with the 1, but Amundsen is going for 4 wins in a row, and you get Flavien Prat aboard, and I don't know if they forgot the silks, but house silks are on.
Dangerous ride out. Nolo Contesto in. Javier Castellano takes over.
Nolo Contesto, 4 for 36 lifetime. You know, last time tried a mile. We'll cut back to 7 furlongs.
Natural Harbor, number 4, Pennsylvania bred with tactical speed.
Coming off a shorter sprint, going 5.5 last time, stretches out at 7/8 today. He's going to be a major pace factor early.
Another big scratch, Bullion Bomber, number 6, is Perfect Flight. Flying P Stable, Mike Maker, they're going well.
Yeah, combinations that are going hot guns at the meet, puts blinkers on, which makes me think that they're going to try to put him in the race, and I love the cutback in distance as well.
Charlie 5-0, pictured. Tyler Gaffleone takes over.
Yeah, it seems like Charlie 5-0 wants to have a target in front of him, and last time he went to the front end, I think he'll have a target because I don't think he's fast enough for the other ones in here.
Romero Mirage, Flint Ridge, 2 starts back, a winner at this 7/8 distance.
This is why I picked this horse as my top pick. His race 2 starts back at a much higher level. He won by 3 lengths and this same distance at Aqueduct. And then even in his most recent start, he regressed a bit, seemingly because he finished 4th at the level, but he actually ran a higher speed figure. So I think this horse is got a big race in him today from the outside post.
Late on the scene, but there he is, Market Alert, and just great to see Eric Cancel back in the saddle after that spill he took yesterday.
Yeah, it is. It really is. For a lot of people that don't know, horse clipped heels yesterday, but horse and rider were okay. Eric walked away with a little bit of a limp, but, you know, at the end of the day, these guys are just animals, how tough they are. And, you know, like I said, listen, Amundsen is the better half of this entry. Market Alert's 0 for 6 here at Saratoga. But you're also not getting a chump of a horse. I mean, the horse is pretty good. 0 for 11 here at Saratoga. I mean, at the distance does hurt, though.
Amundsen, Flavien Prat aboard. This was his latest. Early July, Aqueduct, same distance, always key. Amundsen, Raj, in command, turning for home.
Yeah, I mean, Amundsen was coming up he's in front here, and that was a big run for him. I mean, this was his 3rd win in a row. If he has tactical speed where he sits close to the pace and he's still able to finish it off. There's just a lot to like about this horse. The only thing that's not to like really is the price you're going to get on him, because he's everyone sees this race, everyone sees the form he's in, and I'm just looking for some vulnerability. And I think the one thing that I think could happen is he gets caught up in a pace duel with Perfect Flight and potentially Natural Harbor, and Flint Ridge can be a benefactor, just sit it right off them.
Acacia, you've seen Amundsen several times. He is razor sharp. What is he showing you today?
I know him very well, Lafitte, as he'll try to keep that good form going. And he's a horse that just, if you didn't know him, you would look at him and say, gee, he just doesn't look 100% fit. He always carries his condition, which for a horse at this level is such a beautiful thing to have with these claimers, because he's a horse that really looks after himself, and he carries this weight no matter what barn he's in, no matter what sort of condition, what track it is, what level he's racing at. And he's at razor sharp form right now, trying to make it 4 in a row for the Cantermossis, who've done a terrific job with him, as well as his stablemate and Market Alert in here as well. But Amundsen, relatively quiet warm-up out on the track, but that is pretty typical for him. But he looks great, as he always does. The number 4, Natural Harbor, for Linda Rice, is a horse that does have some speed. The last time we saw him on the NYRA circuit, he won in a starter allowance race at Aqueduct. As you can see, he's getting a spirited warm-up from Jose Lascano, and he should be forward. He settled just off the pace last time at Parks, and the winner wired. I thought actually for sure watching that replay that he had gotten third. He was quite game and unlucky to miss getting the photo for third place finish, but he is definitely a very solid and well-built, kind of typical Munnings horse coming in here. And I do think dropping in to this level, an aggressive drop certainly, given what he's been facing, the fact that he's been protected ever since being with Linda Rice, but putting him in a spot where he can get the victory after his last win came against State Breds 2 starts back. Bringing me to the 6, Perfect Flight. I can see why they were stretching him out, because he is a big horse, but he's going to cut back to the 7 furlongs today, which I don't mind. He has run well at a mile before, and the blinkers go on. Just a short cheater cup, and that's actually very good visualization of it right now. We call it a cheater because it's about the tiniest kind of piece of plastic, limiting the peripheral vision of the horse as you can possibly get, and can help kind of channel energy. Now, I was hoping he would settle down a bit on track, which he has not done as of yet. You can see that he's kind of doing a bit of a rocking horse with Ramon Vasquez. Actually broke him out of the post parade to keep him away from the rest of the field to warm him up. So I'm hoping he's able to settle. I really did think he was going to be well spotted in here, Lafitte, but he's got to keep his energy and keep a lid on it before the race even begins.
Not sure he's going to do that. Fired up like everybody else here at Saratoga. Acacia, this day is about stars, right? We've spent most of the morning discussing a superstar potentially in Skelly and the Vanderbilt, 3-year-olds in the Jim Dandia champion, a Preakness winner, the colt that almost won the Derby. And then you have this. This is just a $25,000 claimer, right? These horses all for sale, but an opportunity to watch a horse like Amundsen, an 8-year-old, try to win a 4th straight and 15th overall. Horse that just loves to compete and win.
And one of the cool things is a horse doesn't have to be a superstar for you to appreciate them.
Yeah. That's the point.
I think that's the thing with Amundsen. We get to see this horse run for many years, and every time he brings it. And these true hard knockers, they do bring a lot of value to our sport.
Amundsen, 3-4 the entry. Frank Miramati with the call. Race 3 live from Saratoga.
One back, goes in. They're in the gate. Movement from a couple, including Perfect Flight. Market Alert being straightened up in the gate. They just made a couple of adjustments. And they're off. It was a very clean beginning. And a quick one for Amundsen, who will take the early lead. Natural Harbor, Market Alert is not far behind through the opening furlong, but it is Amundsen, the clear-cut leader. has it by 3/4 of a length. Natural Harbor comes through on the inside now and gets a little bit faster. And Market Alert up and on the pace, just in a tad tight in between horses. The rest of them are fanned right across the track. Nolo Contesto is in the orange colors, racing along the inside. Perfect Flight racing in the pink. Charlie 5-0, Flint Ridge, they are fanned across the track, moving into the far turn, where it's Natural Harbor and Amundsen. The opening quarter went in 23 and 3/5 seconds. 3 furlongs out, those two stride for stride, with Flint Ridge in pursuit, 3 deep in third. Just behind them, Nolo Contesto is hard-ridden, racing on the inside of Perfect Flight. It's then a big gap of 6 lengths to the 2 trailers. Charlie 5-0 and Market Alert has dropped out. They turn for home. Amundsen in the red blinkers, prominent the entire way, has the lead coming to the 8th pole. Natural Harbor is trying his best, but is now 2 lengths behind in third. And Nolo Contesto is trying to get into that second spot. He is coming after Amundsen, who has a 3-length lead, though, and it will be Amundsen. Amundsen takes care of business by 2.5. Nolo Contesto a rallying second, Natural Harbor third. Then it was Market Alert and Flint Ridge.
Amundsen doing what Amundsen does, win. 4 straight and 15 overall.
Well, yeah, go ahead, Rajiv.
How could you not love and appreciate this horse? I mean, at this
So cool.
8-year-old, you know what I loved about him today? When the gate opened, he just popped right out of there. It just shows how much he loves doing what he's doing.
It's crazy. And you look at the rest of the race, and you start going back, and you're like, wow, the 5 got scratched out of here, the 7 got scratched out of here, a couple speed horses, and Flavien Prat does not miss a thing. And the crazy part is if you look back, his race last time, he hit the lead a lot earlier than he always has, and he ran a giant buyer. Flavien figured him out, and he knew, okay, I can go to the front end with this old veteran. And you're right, Rajiv, at 8 to pull off back-to-back wins, but Flavien just won the race at the break, and the race was over.
How rare, Rajiv, as we take another look, is this type of consistency at this lower claiming level? These cheaper horses, how rare is that?
That is pretty unusual because typically with lower level horses, they're in and outers. You know, that's what makes them that kind of horse, because when a horse is really good and consistent, they become top level horses. And you see a lot of changes in different horses winning the races. They tend to take turns beating each other. But then you see a horse like this now, Amundsen, he's like the cream rising to the top of this mid to lower tier level.
Not as fast as his daddy. Curlin, 2-time Horse of the Year, Woodward winner here at Saratoga. But Amundsen, he knows how to win. Puts it all together once again. Flavien Prat, date later on with Sierra Leone in the Jim Dandy, presented by Mohegan Sun. 1-3-4-1, and for the Cantamasi brothers last year, the big win in the Boston Spa. There's Matty Cantamasi. The win in the Boston Spa, Evie Jets, they do a terrific job, a great story, and the brothers easy to root for.
They're very easy to root for. Now, he's almost up to $800,000 in earnings. You got to love that. Congratulations, Diane Balsamo, who owned both of the horses in the entry. And Market Alert had a bad trip. I thought he ran a good 4th here, sort of got steadied out of it. But no doubt about it, you got to love an 8-year-old with 4 wins in a row.
In a groove, Amundsen entering the winner's circle. Results, reaction when we come back, 1-3-4-1. Nolo Contesto completing the exacta at 13-1. When we return, how cool is this? Triple Crown winning jockey on Kart Talk, Hall of Famer Mike Smith with JK. That's next.
The rumbling started early and only intensified, with performances that sent shockwaves across the nation. At the center of it all,
Epicenter is at the top of the 3-year-old class in the Run Happy Travers.
Epicenter, 3-year-old champion by Not This Time. Coolmore America, home of champions.
Grayson Jockey Club Research Foundation was formed in 1940 with a simple goal: to raise funds for research to enhance the health and soundness of horses. Since then, we've provided millions of dollars to hundreds of projects at universities around the world, leading to major advances in welfare. Our process of selecting and producing peer-reviewed research has become the trusted industry standard. And with your help, we'll be here for many years to come, supporting the health and wellness of all horses.
You're watching Saratoga Live on Jim Dandy Saturday. Coverage, as always, brought to you in part by Hillendale at Alapa, where Curlin stands. Hillendale sire, Curlin, sire of Amundsen, a machine. 4 straight, 15 overall. Rajan is 4th here at Saratoga.
Yeah, just talk about a high level of consistency. This horse just brings it every time. He loves what he's doing, loves to compete.
Slavian Pratt, go ahead.
I'm still trying to figure out, Rajiv and I. They had silks on Market Alert, but they put the house silks on Amundsen. Maybe they were trying to get a price on Amundsen. I don't know why.
Yeah. Amundsen in the 3rd. He's as good as he's been. He's a cool story. And now for a story that has nothing to do with this race, but has to be told. Acacia.
This is going to be one of the best stories you hear all day, Lafitte. I am very happy to be joined by our own jockey Kendrick Carmouche and a special guest, Isabella Lemos. Isabella, you drew this absolutely beautiful portrait of Bourbonic, who Kendrick rode to victory in the Wood Memorial. Tell us a little bit about it.
I've seen Bourbonic in person before. I went in January for, I think, the Excelsior race, and he was cute in person, but I mean, that's not the point. The point is, I make drawings for the jockeys. I went to Monmouth last week, I did it. One of them kissed me twice on the cheek. It was really weird. But I make the drawings. I do it for golfers, I do it for NASCAR drivers. And the note on the back, it's like an inspirational note, kind of like it says, like, never give up, because if you give up, there's a 0% chance you're gonna achieve your goal. But if you at least try, then even if there's like a super slim chance, you can get it done. And that's the point with Bourbonic. He was a 72-1 shot in the Wood Memorial, if I can remember correctly, and he still ended up winning, which shows that even if you're a long shot and no one cares about you and no one loves you, you still, if you try, you can achieve your goal. You just have to never, ever give up. And that's the message, I guess.
Such a beautiful message. Kendrick, how meaningful was that for you to receive Isabella's note?
I have to say, she came to me at a hard time. I have a lot going on in my family that a lot of people don't know of. And the reason why you don't know of these things is because I always have a smile on my face. And I always try to keep my mind as straight as I can to to be 100% for these owners and trainers. This touched me so much. I want to say hi to my mom and dad. Dad, I love you. I know you're going through a hard time. I hope one day, as strong as you can be walking again. And a lot of prayers are out there for you. I think Isabella just came to me at the right time, and she made me feel like you was next to me, Dad, and that means a lot. This little girl means a lot to our sport. I think it touched me in a good way today where I can express myself and don't feel some type of way about nobody knowing what's going on in my life, but it's really hard right now. I've been dealing with a lot, but I pray every day, and I'm a strong person, and I love you, Dad. I hope you can get up and walk again, and I get to hold you and hug you next time I see you. I love you, man.
Beautifully said, Kendrick. Our prayers are with you and your family. And Isabella, thank you for such a beautiful message. Lafitte, just goes to show the power of positivity and sharing kind gestures like this and what it can do.
Where do you start? Acacia, thanks so much. And to Isabella and to Kendrick Carmouche, how this sport can bring people together, how horses can inspire, how Isabella was inspired by Bourbonic and reaching out and connecting with Kendrick Carmouche, of which we're not aware of what he's having to go through and deal with, and his family and his father. And for Kendrick to be so raw, so real and vulnerable in that moment, and to see them together and how she was inspired and sharing that with us, just an incredible story.
Wow, gives me the chills. It's just awesome. I think at every time in someone's life, obviously, you need somebody. You know, I went through a tough time when I lost my mother when I was a young kid, when I got drafted by the Dodgers, and I needed to lean on somebody, and it happened to be, you know, someone close to me was my middle brother, and guy's gonna make me cry. But, you know, little gestures like that, you get fan mail, and I know, Rajiv, you get fan mail. Sometimes you'll get fan mail for some people, and sometimes you'll think you're not going through the best time and you're not doing the right thing, and then you got some little person, a kid or a girl, that's telling you're the best thing ever, I love you, I wear your number, and you kind of just realize, okay, I am who I am, get back to who I am. Sometimes you lose focus on that, and I give Kendrick a ton of credit that the way he's been riding what he's been going through.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the world can be a brutal place. You know, we see a lot of things going on all around us, and it's moments like these that really make you feel that humanity is true, and sometimes it shows that just being nice, you don't ever know whose life you can touch, and sometimes it's some things that you think is the simplest things that you can say or do that can change someone else, because you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Everyone goes through tough times and different variations of tough times, and this is why, as a human race, we have to be nice to each other.
True.
And thank you to Isabella, thank you to Kendrick, and yeah, just important to remember, no matter what's on the exterior, like 100%. You never know what somebody is dealing with in their personal life and with their family. And our thanks again to Isabella and Kendrick for sharing that with us. We'll be right back.
And clear off at the Naira Betts Haskell.
In the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga.
Dornock setting up moderate pace, 3/4 of a length ahead.
Right as the field turns for home. Mind frame on the outside. It's coming after Dornock.
They're at it again. The two Belmont first and second place finishers
will be Dornock to win the Belmont Stakes.
Dornock wins the Haskell.
Introducing the Caesars Racebook app, the ultimate destination for racing enthusiasts. Built on the trusted Naira Betts platform, you can watch and wager on over 300 racetracks worldwide, including Saratoga. And the best part? Every bet earns you exciting reward credits that can be redeemed for your next bet, hotel stays, dining, and more. Get started today and receive a $150 sign-up bonus. Download the Caesars Racebook app and embrace the thrill of horse racing. He's a running son of a gun.
Papa Cap now has the advantage.
A graded stakes winning 2-year-old. Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Juvenile runner-up at 2, multiple Grade 1 places at 3, finished in the top 4 in 11 out of 12 starts.
And from here on in, it's just a matter of how far. Papa Cap, an easy winner of the best, pal.
Papa Cap, standing at Walmack.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
You know, new fans might have the misconception that you're a California rider, right? The real fans, the real New Yorkers know that you're a New Yorker.
Just fell in love with New York, man. New York racing, and of course, especially Saratoga. I've had some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful memories and moments here. I plan to have a few more before it's all over.
You never get in the way of a speed horse. You use it as a weapon. But there's no better example of that than 30 years ago on Holy Bull when you won the Travers in '94.
Yeah, it was a short field, but man, it was a good field.
But it is Holy Bull, as game as a racehorse could be, coming down to the wire. Holy Bull wins! What a hero!
He was just a tremendous horse. He was a machine, man, he really was.
And then you went on to what I would think is one of the greatest 4 race runs I've ever seen. When Arrogate won the Travers, he won the Breeders' Cup Classic, the Pegasus, and then the Dubai World Cup.
I just remember getting to pick him up for the race. I didn't ride him first time out. Rafael Bejarano had broken his maiden, but he also had another colt that was going for the Travers at the same time. And I remember Bob just telling me, listen, if you can get him on the lead, I don't think he'll stop.
It is Arrogate and Mike Smith. Oh, they've opened up a 6-length lead here with 1 furlong to run.
And let me tell you, man, to this day, it's the fastest Travers ever ran.
Arrogate, what a commanding performance. He won the Travers by 12.
That 4-race run that he put together, it'll never be duplicated.
What was it like sitting on the back of a Triple Crown winner?
Crossing the wire in the Belmont that afternoon to win the Triple Crown was out-of-a-body experience, the most humblest feeling that I've ever felt in my life. I literally wanted to stop and talk to every single person I saw and tell them I just won the Holy Grail, man. I just won the Triple Crown. I still get emotional talking about it.
27 Breeders' Cup wins, the most ever. 3rd in money earned. Derbies, Preaknesses, Triple Crowns, Belmonts, Travers. Why do you still get a leg up? What's left for Mike Smith to prove?
I'm really enjoying myself right now at this place in my life. You know, look, I don't ride as many, but I've kept myself in really good shape. And this is like retirement for me. I mean, I really enjoy riding races, man, and riding a good horse. I mean, I just love horses. If I retire, what am I gonna do, man? I ain't gonna be a good commentator like you guys, man. I need to keep doing this as long as I can, and as long as I feel that I can compete at this level, I'm gonna continue to do it.
Well, I can't let you go without talking about the big mare that got tattooed over here on my left elbow, Zenyatta, who I know that there's probably not too many that have meant more in your career. Talk a little bit about the great Zenyatta.
She was Entertainer of the Year every year she ran. I mean, she had it all. She had the whole package. She would intimidate the other horses. I didn't care if they were male or female. She was just bigger, stronger, and better, and she knew it.
What a performance, one we'll never forget.
She'll go down as probably being by far the most popular horse I've ever been on.
I gotta say that there's no way there's anyone else on this earth whose life you've impacted more in terms of the horses that you've ridden and your performances than me. The first and only Triple Crown race that I ever got to watch with my father was Palace Mouse. And he's right here.
I know you got him on your arm, man.
Every time I get to sit with you, it's an absolute honor.
Happy to know that. I'm happy to know that I was a part of all that, man. It made my day.
We got to get you back. We got to get you back to the jocks room.
Yeah,
you got to get your subs on.
Great jockey, a better person. Mike Smith, great stuff on Cart Talk. Brought to you by Gainesway Power, passion, performance. I think newer fans associate, as you look at Mike's career highlights, those numbers are staggering, $350 million. Newer fans might associate his riding out west, as he has for the last 12, 15 years, whatever it is. But prior, spent a lot of time in New York. Terrific moments down at Belmont in New York and here at Saratoga as well.
Yeah, and, you know, funny story. I ended up living next to Mike, or actually below Mike, when I was with the Dodgers, and he was riding, and we became friends that way because he made a complaint, said I was being too loud. What ended up happening after the Dodgers games were over, obviously it was 11 o'clock. He'd be sleeping because he'd have to get up in the morning. So he made a complaint. We became friends. But the one thing about Mike that has kept him going is, listen, he has ridden every great mare. He's done it all, you know. And like he said, he's in a very good place. Knowing Mike personally, his mental space and everything, he's probably in the best space he's been in a long time.
When you watch Mike Smith, what do you think over the course of his career, aside with, you know, just being clutch and delivering in big moments, what do you think his greatest asset is as a rider? What is Mike Smith best at?
Mike Smith is confident, and confidence is very important when you're doing something and you believe in yourself. And Mike is a strong finisher. He's a well-rounded jockey. But ultimately, his best asset is that he doesn't get in a horse's way. He lets horses run the way they are supposed to. He doesn't try to turn them into something that they're not. And I think that's what makes him so adaptable to horses. When you let a horse do what they want to do, they get into a better rhythm and a better stride. And I think that I attest a lot of his success over his career to that specific style.
We saw it Wednesday.
Yeah, and we talk about injuries. He had a horrific injury
right here
at Saratoga. And listen, this is a guy that took off Cigar, obviously. I mean, he rode so many great horses, but it just shows you when you're gone for 8 months, you kind of get dismissed. And he was losing mounts. And then when he went to California, he ran into John Sheriffs, and Zenyatta came along, rejuvenated his career, and just said, I'm back.
The rest is history. The win with Spirit Wind and the honorable miss on Wednesday. Look forward to seeing Mike Smith back at Saratoga, we believe, for the Ballerina Travers Day. Over to Acacia for this paddock report. 8 minutes out, race 4, Acacia.
And Lafitte, I think in large part this race revolves around the number 5 Speakeasy, who's only raced once with a 100 buyer speed figure, breaking his maiden on the Pegasus undercard. I was actually at Gulfstream that day to see his debut, and he hasn't really changed much since then. I was hoping to see him kind of have grown and filled out a little bit more, coming back 6 months later. Now, should be note that this is not only the second time he's walked over to the racetrack. He was actually on the track for the Fountain of Youth back in March, in which he got loose in the post parade and was a late scratch, needing stitches following that afternoon. So he is a horse that sometimes can be a little bit tricky, particularly by the gates. So keep an eye on him there. Now, he comes back, again, not having been led over to the races since the first week of March. He's fit enough. Looking at the DRF Clocker report, he's been second best in the mornings, though working with older fillies in large part. He's been very professional here in the paddock, but I'll watch him when he gets out to the racetrack as well and see if he can run back to that dazzling debut. The number 4 Mariachi to his inside is a 4-year-old and certainly more seasoned, and this is a horse who comes out of that race, which was won so impressively by Jefferson Street. We did see Jefferson Street second best yesterday in the Amsterdam. This race was also off of a layoff for Mariachi that day too, and I had noted in the paddock on June 7th that he came back and was a new gelding, which I do think really helped him, but he just really looked like he needed a race for fitness. He finished a distant third that day, and he is much more fit and defined today. He looks absolutely terrific, second off the layoff for John Kimmel. Now, the number 7, Be the Boss, comes out of a race that was in open company behind Subrogate, who will be one of the contenders later on. It was noted in the short comment that Be the Boss did bleed that day during the races, so given a little bit of time, which I think is certainly a benefit for him. He was a horse that maybe just needed a little bit of a break after a pretty strong campaign throughout the winter. He's one that sometimes doesn't carry a lot of muscle mass behind the saddle. He's done well with the freshening, carrying good condition, good flesh in him today. Watch how he warms up, but I think that he's one that could be coming back stronger after that freshening, Lafitte.
Be the Boss will try and be just that. As we meet the field for this fourth race, strong allowance field sprinters. There's Noda, wire-to-wire winner, Belmont Week right here.
Yeah, and a good wire-to-wire win last time. And that bodes well. When you win here at Saratoga, it's a plus.
Cunchen Bridge, Flavia and Pratt are going to go back-to-back.
Yeah, cutting back in distance after chasing the pace and fading to fifth, beating level lengths at this level last time.
General Banker, the New York bred.
You know, at age 4, he's gotten a little bit better. His last 2 races, now a little bit of a freshening for Jimmy Ferraro.
Mariachi and Kendrick Carmouche, there he is at 9-2.
My top pick in here. I really love his form line. I ran a big third last time off a pretty extended layoff.
Speakeasy, odds on 4-5, strictly the one to beat.
Yeah, a horse that ran 100 buyer first time out, but hasn't been seen in 6 months. So if you're ever going to try to beat him, I think you try to beat him today.
Letty would be a big surprise. He is by Arrowgate.
Hasn't run since last December, where he was well beaten at this level after being dismissed at 70-1.
Be the boss. Acacia pointed out why there's some upside here.
There's some upside here because this horse is about what? A nose and a head for being 3 for 3 here at Saratoga. Yep. So likes the racetrack and is a contender in here.
Edified 4-1 in last year's Saratoga Special.
His most recent race was a third place finish, beating 5 lengths at this level after breaking slowly. I expect him to improve off that effort.
Forest City, 5-year-old debut. Bill Mott looking for a second on the afternoon.
Yeah, I think this is a ridiculous price on this horse. I mean, I understand this horse hasn't been out in a long time, but Bill good on this move. And this horse has improved the last couple efforts. And I think this horse could fire at 15-1 here. That's a heck of a price.
That's the field. Race 4, Jim Dandy Saturday. And there's another look at Speakeasy in the Windstar White with Rod Ortiz for trainer Todd Pletcher. Paul, his debut and the reason he's 4-5. What was so impressive about this effort?
Well, he wins by a length and 3/4. So now it kind of questions me now. Was that 100 buyer, is it validated? You know, because you know what? We always go back, Rajiv, and the ultimate handicapping tool is time, right? Because we don't know who's behind them. Well, the second place finish, third place finisher haven't come back to win. So you're telling me the 5 who ran second probably ran a 95 buyer. Tough read.
And Rajiv, you're not sold. You're not sold on the favorite.
No, I mean, there's some vulnerabilities here, right? Yes, he ran a big speed figure, and that alone is going to make him look really well and take a lot of betting, and he's going to be a super low price like he is right now. And, you know, I just don't know if he is really advanced from his first race to this race. I really like Mariachi, a horse that has 3 wins from 8 starts, and his form has been pretty dirtied up. He chased a fast pace last time against a runaway winner, Jefferson Street. And then two starts back, he had a lot of trouble as a favorite at this level.
The challenge for an athlete that both of you can touch on and expand on what Kendrick Carmouche is having to do right now and what he's been doing, as he just shared with us, and the need to compartmentalize, the ability to compartmentalize and focus on the task at hand.
I think a lot of people in the media get this misconstrued. When somebody's going through something off the field, your one reprieve is when you're on the field. It was that way for me. I was able to focus on the field, and you forgot about everything for those 3 hours. Obviously, when the game ended, you go back to where Kendrick's probably thinking of his father. But for these 2 minutes, his eye is on the prize, and it was a reprieve for me. And I think that's why a lot of guys do well when they're having some under duress, because they get to forget about it when they're doing their craft.
Well, the feeling I got watching him talk about it and watching him cry was almost like it's just letting it out. Sometimes you're containing something inside of you, and it's building up, and you want it released. This pressure is building up, and yeah, you try to compartmentalize it and put it aside when you're riding. But that moment in the winner's circle with him and that young girl, him able to cry it out and release it to the world, it might have been, you know, just getting it out and getting it away. And now that it's out there, it's no longer inside.
Therapeutic. It's just therapeutic. And now, back to riding. on Mariachi. Trying to defeat Speak Easy, as are the rest. The odds-on favorite. We go back to Acacia.
Big horses in general are therapeutic, Lafitte, but as far as Speakeasy is concerned, just to quickly go back to that first race in January, Victory Avenue was one that had been really highly touted in that debut, and the top two in there, much the best. But a horse that was 6th in that debut race at Gulfstream, Batten Down, who's going to be one of the contenders later in the Jim Dandy and now an Ohio Derby winner. Now, Victory Avenue and Speakeasy were both entered in the Fountain of Youth. Victory Avenue didn't run. Again, Speakeasy a late scratch. Who won that Fountain of Youth? Dornoch, the winner of the Belmont Stakes and the Naira Betts Haskell. So this is a horse that's been kind of thought of and right up there with some of the best 3-year-olds in training. For me, I got to see it one more time out on the racetrack. To quickly wrap up thoughts on the 8 Edified, he is second off a layoff, finishing 3rd behind Pure Force. We saw a run in the Amsterdam yesterday, and Edified had been the workmate of Valentine Candy, who many had liked in that race as well and was against the racetrack, I think. Edified's a bit of a smaller type. He's one that also never really took a huge step forward from 2 to 3, but is incredibly fit and oftentimes leave Steve Asmussen out in sprints at your own peril.
Edified. Yeah, he's feeling it. Ford trainer Steve Asmussen trying for that 5th Vanderbilt a little bit later on with Skelly, 6-5 favorite. You can see that on Fox Saratoga Saturday. Big Fox gets started in about 45 minutes. First things first, this 4th race, Edified. Problematic at the gate here, Rajiv. You're going to take some coaxing.
Yeah, it's just being hesitant going up to that big green gate.
It's a big green gate, the big green monster. Huh?
It's sometimes the horses, you know, they don't like to be in the stalls, and it just takes a little bit of convincing to reassure them that it's okay.
Moves in. Forest City, last to load. All eyes on Speakeasy. 4-5 at post time. Here's Frank Miramati.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Noda bobbled out of the gate. Mariachi is very fast out of there. Be the Boss has some early foot on the far outside. Forest City and Noda coming through next. Rad Ortiz asking Speakeasy for more early speed. He's already 6 or 7 off them. Kunshan Bridge is next. Racing on the inside of Edified, who just went by that rival, General Banker and Letty. They have passed a half-mile pole, and it's Mariachi leading the way through a quarter that went in 22 and 4/5 seconds. Forest City second. Be the Boss inches up on the outside, and down at the rail, Noda is racing right with them. Another 3. Speak Easy is starting to find his best stride now, getting into the race with 5 to make up. Another 3 back to Edify. They're at the top of the stretch, and Mariachi goes on well. Mariachi turns for home with a 2-length lead. Noda along the inside in second. Outside of them comes Forest City. Speak Easy continues to make headway, and he's starting to really roll now. Here comes Speak Easy on the outside of Mariachi and Noda, a 16th to go, and Speak Easy will come back a winner. Speak Easy, a perfect 2 for 2 as he wins by 2 lengths. Mariachi held second, Edified finished well, and then Forest City and Noda.
Took him a while to find his best stride, but eventually did. Speak Easy, 2 for 2. The odds-on favorite with Rad Ortiz delivers in the 4th at Saratoga.
Yeah, and you can see that Irad was under a hard drive early, and he was losing position, essentially, seeming like he was struggling. And then he got him to the outside in the clear, and the horse just transformed and just started really getting himself together. And once he found his best stride, he was just too much.
Yeah, I think talent took over here, Lafitte.
Yeah.
The workout reports in the morning from DRF were he had been a little bit lazy, and then his last work was a little bit better and better and better. And I'm wondering, like, he was a little bit lazy out of the gate, and you got to give Irad credit. You talked about the avalanche coming. He was able to stay on this horse and keep on coming. Then the momentum and the talent took over because Rajiv had the race right. I thought we both did. I thought the 9 ran a good race, 16-1. But Rajiv had the 4 right here with Kendrick on the front end. 5 just ended up just being a better horse in the end.
You hate to lose that much ground, Rajiv, but if you're on the best horse, you just at that point around Ortiz, you want to keep him in the clear, out of traffic,
well,
out
in
of
this
trouble.
situation, it was more of a desperation move for Irad to try to get this horse going, because when he was behind horses on the inside, he was actually dropping backwards.
Yeah, he was.
Right? And Irad was like thinking, how can I get this horse in gear? Because he wasn't getting in gear. And sometimes as a jockey, one of the things that you can get to get a horse going, if you feel like the dirt, the kickback in the face is what's pushing him backwards, is to get him out in the clear. You know you're going to lose some ground, but it's, sometimes that's your best option.
And watching these races, getting closer to the Vanderbilt, getting closer to the Jim Dandy on this main track, we have a fair track. Yesterday, especially earlier in the day, you had to be inside. There was a tendency. The rail was where you wanted to be. Not perhaps as much a little bit later on, but it was something to watch in the earlier dirt races today. We have a fair racetrack.
I'm with you. I think it's been fair. Yesterday, like you said, maybe some, like world record, almost set a world record, it seems like. It didn't matter with him, but there were some horses. The racetrack changed a little bit.
If I'm the connections of Sierra Leone right now, I'm loving this kind of racetrack. I don't have to worry that I'm up against some kind of bias and have to make some unrealistic adjustments just to stay within range. I feel like, it's definitely not favoring the speed horses.
Fair track, that's what you want.
Fair.
All you want on a big day. The Windstar Homebred, Speak Easy. Windstar with a first-time starter yesterday in the nightcap, most impressive. Arad Ortiz, trainer Todd Pletcher, who campaigns, who trains fierceness. The reigning 2-year-old champ, there he is, brilliant at times, inconsistent as well. What will he do in the Jim Dandy? We'll find out this evening on Fox. Welcome back. Saratoga Live. Car Museum in Spa Park. You guys been?
I actually went to this. It's phenomenal. Every Ferrari that's ever made in the world that is out there, and I tell you what, I wish I could just be like Dr. Freeze and freeze all of them and then just take them all for a ride, and then I'll bring them all back.
Did you at least jump in one, sneak in
I
one?
did. You know, one of the owners let me jump in, like it was like a 66 coupe or something like that, and it was just like, man, heaven.
Porsche, there is no substitute. Speakeasy, undefeated, 2 for 2. WinStar, Elliott Walden with Acacia.
And I'm sure quite happy to see Speakeasy back. Elliott, as we know, it's been quite the journey with this horse since that dazzling debut, but how good to see him back on the track and winning like that.
Very good. Just relieved that, you know, he ran as well as he did. When you run that big first time, you want to see that again, and 6 furlongs was a little bit of concern for Todd, but we felt like this was the right spot to get him back. So when he was further back than when he was on the lead in his first start, everything's easy, he's cruising along, he does his thing. He had a little adversity today, and he handled it well.
Given the fact that, like you said, he's shown that he can come from off of it, he can show some speed, do you think about potentially going into some stakes in the future with him?
Well, he'll go on a stake next time for sure, because, I mean, being a 3-year-old and winning 2 starts, you're kind of destined for that. But we'll regroup and see how he comes out of this. He's still learning. I gave him a big pat at the wire, like this, boy, this is good. This is good. You did a good job here. So I was real pleased with him.
The talent is obviously there, though. But I wanted to ask you, as coming up a little bit later on in the 7th, you with partners will be sending out Invictus, the first foal of Serengeti Empress. Can you give us any insight on that 2-year-old?
Well, he's been training well, and he looks the part. He's a gorgeous horse. He knows he's kind of the boss. I just hope he shows it in the afternoon. But in the mornings, he's worked well. He's worked out of the gate a few times, and he hadn't worked here, so there's always that little question about that. But it's a really good field. I know 4 or 5 people that like their horses. That's the thing about Saratoga that's fun. We'll see what happens.
We cannot wait to see him, especially with that pedigree. But congratulations. Great to see Speakeasy back.
Thank you, Acacia.
As the Connections can breathe a sigh of relief with Speakeasy back in the winner's circle. Now Lafitte.
Acacia, I've never laid eyes on him, but Invictus, I'm already a fan. I don't need to know anything else, just who his mother was. First-time starter later today, Invictus out of Serengeti Empress, and what a top-class mare she was, and what an amazing job Tom Amos did.
Tom's pumped. Tom can't wait to see the horse run. Serengeti Empress is a soft spot in Tom's heart. He also laid the biggest tackle on his wife he ever laid before in his life when that horse won the Kentucky Oaks.
Greatest post-race celebration in the history of greatest post-race celebrations. That's later. You'll see it on Fox, along with the Grade 1 Vanderbilt and Jim Dandy. Coming up, 3-year-olds, the local traditional prep for the Travers. And Seize the Gray for trainer D. Wayne Lucas. Won his first Jim Dandy in 1989. The jockey Jamie Torres, born in 1999. They'll team up once again in the Jim Dandy.
Quality Road, proving Lane's End's tried and true stallion-making tradition. Quality Road has sired multiple Eclipse Award and Grade 1 winners, including champion 2-year-old Colt Corniche, champion 2-year-old filly Caledonia Road, champion 3-year-old filly Abel Tasman, Grade 1 winner Bleecker Street, and classic winner National Treasure. He's a leader of his generation. Quality Road, a stallion that stands above the rest.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got them. Huge payouts? You bet. With Naira Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with Naira Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at NairaBets.com.
He possessed such natural athleticism.
It is Golden Pal winning the Juvenile Turf Sprint.
He's very, very agile and quick.
Golden Pal has repelled the challenges.
Each and every race, he just got better and better.
Golden Pal broke like a rocket. Golden Pal, wire to wire.
He's a very confident horse.
Golden Pal, the lead is out to 5 lengths in deep stretch.
He's just got a brilliant mind.
They're all behind Golden Pal.
I'm going to be breeding everything I have to him.
Walker, who's still a nose in front. Carew is lifting late as well. Better Lucky Than Good at the rail. Better Lucky Than Good. Carew, Better Lucky Than Good wins the finale.
Welcome to Adelphi Racing Club's unparalleled partnership experience. Exclusive access to the backstretch at Belmont and Saratoga, premier accommodations on race day, and of course, experience excitement like no other. Contact us today and come hang with us this Saratoga meet.
Bernardini enters the stretch with a 3-length lead as the field turns for home. Minister's Bid, Dr. Pleasure on the outside. Hemingway's Key is coming up the rail. But Javier Castellano is like a statue in the stirrups aboard Bernardini, and they glide past the 8th pole with a 5-length lead. Effortless performance by Bernardini. Look at this. He didn't break a sweat, and it's 90 degrees. Bernardini runs huge.
What a call. Tom Durkin, that summer of Bernardini, trained by Tom Albatrani. He lost his brother this week, Lewis, who trained champion Artax. Our condolences to the Albatrani family. Hard to fathom that almost 20 years have passed since Bernardini, and what an absolute rock star, superstar he was from the Preakness right on through the end of the campaign when he was upset in the Breeders' Cup Classic by Invasor.
I mean, and when Tom Durkin said Javier Castellano sitting like a statue, it's like you can look at him and tell, you know, you got a car that could go 100 miles an hour and you're on the freeway and you got him on cruise control at 70 miles an hour and just sitting there relaxing. That's what Javier was doing there. He's just cruising because he's not even pressing the accelerator.
He was electric. Like, Bernardini was electric.
Yeah, and it's a shame because he, you know, after Barbaro won the Kentucky Derby, obviously what happened, and then Bernardini ends up winning the Preakness and goes on to what he is. But he was a tremendous racehorse. He really was. He was very, very tactical, very, very fast, and I want to say he gave St. Liam, right, the next year, all he could handle? Or is that what happened in the Breeders' Cup Classic?
No, that was the year prior. St. Liam won the Classic at Belmont 05, 06. Invasor beat Bernardini at Churchill,
I'm sorry.
at
Invasor,
Churchill Downs.
Yeah.
Got a big
But he gave
upset
Invasor
at the
all he
time.
could handle.
Absolutely. And just a superstar, and so good that particular summer. That was his Jim Dandy. The Jim Dandy a little bit later on, and Bernardini, who had won the Preakness, and eventually the Jim Dandy and the Travers, sees the gray, trying to win the Jim Dandy after having won the Preakness Stakes. I get the sense, I don't know, guys, for a Classic winner, it feels as though he's being just readily dismissed. Why is that?
Well, the two most high-profile three-year-olds are in this race, right? Sierra Leone, Kentucky Derby runner-up, and then you have Fierceness, 2-year-old champion, and they're taking the attention. But Seize the Gray, his Preakness win, if he can duplicate that, he's a horse that could give them all they could handle in this race.
So if he's good, like, how does he win? How does a race unfold for, like, how do you map it out? It's kind of tricky.
It's hard. Jamie Torres is going to have to send out of there, all right? Because Sierra Leone's not going to outbreak him. Batten down has shown speed. Pony Express is the horse that's coming off a maiden win, and then you got Fierceness that might go to the lead at all costs. Who's going to take back? Who's going to yield
I will
first?
say this about Seize the Gray. He's not a one-trick pony. While he did his best race being on the lead, being in control of the Preakness, he also can adapt to if they wanted to set a suicidal pace, because in the Pat Day Mile prior to the Preakness, it was a really fast pace, and he sat fourth. He let them duke it out and then took over in the stretch.
I'll give him a puncher's chance if you tell me he can win without the lead. If he can do that and he's not that one-dimensional, yeah, he's got a puncher's chance. If not,
he can be effective without the lead, undoubtedly.
Do you care that the wet track, his biggest performance in the Preakness, that, not going to have that today working for him either?
I do think that a wet track aids him. Having control of a lead aids him. And he can't get neither of those two things today. He won't get an easily controllable lead today, nor will he have a wet track. So do I expect the 100-buyer Preakness victory? I don't. But can he be effective sitting off the pace? Yes, he can. What does that mean translate into winning this race? I don't think so. I don't think he'll win.
We've dismissed Wayne Lucas so many times and been wrong so many times. Can the coach do it again? We'll find out this evening. Seize the Gray in the Jim Dandy coming up on Fox. Coverage begins in less than half hour. Fox Saratoga Saturday. Best horses, biggest races. Fox Saratoga Saturday coming up at 3 o'clock, featuring that Jim Dandy presented by Mohegan Sun. We check in with Acacia.
And I'm very happy to be joined by Brad Bryant, the general manager of Mohegan Sun Race and Sportsbook. As Brad, we always get to talk about some of the fun things that Mohegan Sun offers. Tell us a little bit about the racebook.
A lot of good things going on. We have a new tote system now, so we have like 17 brand new terminals for people to wager on. We have our own cashing kiosks. We have terminals that they can bet at from their seat. So, you know, we're really embracing the racebook and we love it. So we come down and join us at Mohegan Sun.
And over in the sportsbook, I understand there's some good opportunities for some draft parties.
Absolutely. So if you're into fantasy football, we have about 4 different draft parties, all different levels during the week, on the weekends, high end, low end, and you can go to mohegansun.com, make those reservations, and we'll take care of you.
And the Hot Summer Fun promotion, what's that all about?
Hot Summer Fun, we have a party on the patio every Friday night. We have a tribute band that's out there. We have like a Journey tribute band. I think we have a Bruce Springsteen tribute band. So it's a really great time. They've really enhanced that experience. It has its own bar out there and its own food. So it's a really great time at Mohegan Sun.
It sounds wonderful and a beautiful facility as well. Great to see you as always, Brad, and thanks for the support.
Much. Thank you.
Lafitte?
You're not here. That's a place to be. Mohegan Sun. Jim Dandy coming up later on this evening, presented by Mohegan Sun. Horses in the paddock, race 5 of 12. You're looking at the choice in Have You Heard, 5-2. Riders up, post parade for the 5th. Next.
Olympiad leads American Revolution. Olympiad gets the gold in the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
Monmouth Park's summer season rolls on with live racing action every Friday to Sunday. Monmouth's 2023 season featured our highest average field size since 2015, the perfect recipe for a prolific payday. With a stakes race every Saturday and Sunday, plus our Win Early Pick 5, Monmouth Park is your summer place to profit. Joining us on site, lock in your odds with fixed odds wagering at Monmouth Park Racetrack.
to Saratoga Live, brought to you in part by NyraBets. You can bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Get started at NyraBets.com today. We got the Golf for Riders up for this upcoming 5th race, going 1 mile and an 1/8 in this starter allowance. And starting down to the rail with the number 1, Have You Heard? One of the contenders on a horse that did win an off-the-turf race last time out. But I have to say, I haven't seen him since his last dirt start at Aqueduct back in April, in which I was a bit concerned about him that day because he just wasn't carrying a lot of good muscle mass in him. I wondered if maybe he was a bit more of a turf horse. He's obviously not a turf horse, and he looks incredibly strong and well developed in his hind end, which I love to see. Now, the 2, Yo Daddy is going turf to dirt, and I thought it was intriguing when he was claimed by Linda Rice because he moves like a turf horse. What I mean is he has very high knee action. You can see that even in his last dirt win back at Keeneland, he has a flatter turf hoof on him. And they're going back to the dirt today, which is interesting. I don't know if I love that for him. I physically prefer him on the grass. He's very sharp and getting hot, as he always does. But the number 4, Who's the King? He just physically has everything you like to see of one going this distance. He has good size, good substance, good strength, and a quiet, laid-back demeanor. Absolutely dappled out from head to toe for Saffie Joseph Jr. and comes off a second-place finish at a big price at the distance behind Elephant's Ear, who we saw try the curl in last week against much tougher company. He's now the favorite, and I think the one to beat, Lafitte.
You were getting 36-1 last time. Today, having to concede 2-1. The favorite, Who's the King? We'll see him again in the post parade. There is Have You Heard? Now, Ortiz looking to go back-to-back.
Taking a lot of money here. Won last time at Colonial in an off-the-turf event with Horacio Caramano's aboard.
Yo Daddy, Raj's top selection.
Yeah, it got in a lot of trouble 2 starts back, had a brutal trip. I like him switching back to the dirt because he won 3 starts back on the dirt.
Strapped, lightly raced 5-year-old.
Yeah, has run into some tough competition, but has been seen since May, and Linda has this one at 8-1.
Aforementioned, Who's the King? Favorite this time, 2-1.
This one has a tactical speed advantage against his rivals. In a race that lacks a lot of early speed, he has some.
Collection Day and Kendrick Carmouche.
Collection Day was 3rd last time in Delaware at this level. Needs to step it up against his rivals today.
Pando, big price, solid connections.
You know, I liked Pando last time out in Monmouth, and he just did not fire. I don't know how he can win this race today, but Lindsey Schultz is a tremendous conditioner.
Number 8, Special Dispatch, and Tom Amos turns to Flavian Pratt.
Just missed by a neck last time out. First off the claim. This one will be closing late.
Number 10, Polly's top pick, Game Warden, a winner 2 back at Churchill.
Very interesting one here. He actually didn't get enough pace to run into last time. He's just going to have to work his way over to the rail and not lose too much ground going into that first turn.
So let's stay right there with Game Warden. Polly, the colt you have on top in this 5th race in Saratoga, his victory 2 back at Churchill. How can he duplicate this effort and get back to the winner's circle?
Well, this was under the Saffie Joseph care. Now, Bill Mott used to have this horse, and Norm Cassie reaches in for the $50,000 here for Flying P. And this was a good race for Tyler Gaffalione, and this was at 1 mile and an 1/8. Now, last time out, Rajiv hit the nail on the head. You know, Louis tried to get him more forward, but, you know, at that time, it was a slower pace. He didn't get a lot of pace to run into, and I think Louis kind of knew that, so he was out of his game a little bit. I think Ricardo is the regular rider in the Norm Cassie barn. They're 28% together. I think he sits and just plays the break. He's faster than the 8. I don't know if he's faster. Yeah, he's faster than the 8. I would think he's just as fast as the 7 or 6, so he's going to have to make a decision where he wants to sit in this race.
I think one of the things that helps your pick as well is that there was originally 10 horses signed on for this race. Now it's narrowed down to 8 with 2 scratches. So it's, you know, being in the 10 hole around going into that first turn, you can lose a lot of ground. In the 8 hole, you get a little bit of a breathing room to be able to make your way over a little easier.
Game Warden, Ricardo Santana, Polly's top selection. 9-2 and circling back to the favorite and Who's the King. And okay, so he's favored today, but Raj in his latest, he nearly shocked at 36-1.
Yeah, I mean, this horse ran a massive race last time. What I like about this race is He did all the heavy lifting. He led, he was chased, he got some separation from his rivals, and just in the last part here, he was worn down by another long shot, 47-1 elephant ears. And, you know, he lost nothing in defeat in this race, but and today, with that natural speed he showed, it really is something that's beneficial to him, because this race lacks early speed. He's going to be in control, and that's a big advantage.
Paulie, as a handicapper, everything being relative and circumstantial, how do you feel about backing a horse who in his last performance outran expectations as Who's the King did, nearly winning and putting forth that effort at 36-1? How do you feel about backing him in a following start and having to concede a much, much shorter price?
Well, it's always a tough read, right? Elephant Seer was a horse that was actually 50-1 in that race. That exacta paid like almost $2,000 between him and Who's the King. Now, Elephant Seer came here, and I know that Kenny McPeak always liked that horse. He didn't run well here. It was over his head a little bit. But you go back to the race before, and you don't see much. Then you see the race at Gulfstream going around one turn. At the end of the day, this horse got claimed for $35,000 out of a maiden 35, and, you know, broke his maiden and made an optional claiming 50. So does he belong at 2-1? Really? They're just playing that one last race.
Who's the King? 2-1 favorite. We check in with Acacia. Acacia, what are you observing from Strapped, the lightly raced 5-year-old?
He is, and he's the bigger price of the Linda Rice duo in here. But in this spot, the more I look at him, the more I think that he's a horse that has a chance in here, Lafitte. Last time out, hesitated a little bit at the break, then kind of took a few stumbling steps and just never really recovered from that. He actually ran on a little bit past some tired horses to be fourth, but I think really taken out of his comfort zone and really kind of shaken by that start in that race. Surface to Air, the winner, would get a 93 Beyer speed figure in his subsequent start. 2 starts back, Strapped was wired by Mama's Gold, who was in good form, and then got the win prior to that. He's a horse that had a lovely warm-up under Dylan Davis, and I think he's going to be a little bit of a sneaky one to outrun his odds at 10-1. Now, the number 10, Game Warden, I can totally understand Paul liking this horse because he's actually the only horse in this field who has a win at the mile and an 1/8 distance. Now, he was very revved up back in the paddock. They kept him quiet with the pony on the track, and he has settled down nicely, which I certainly do appreciate, because you don't want to see them doing too much out on the track. Ricardo Santana has kicked his feet out of the irons, just trying to keep him settled before they get to the starting gate, especially with these longer distances. You need to conserve that extra energy, but I've always felt longer is better for this guy. He's definitely convincing at the distance, Lafitte.
I'm sure riders did it way before Chris McCarron, Raj, but Chris McCarron was the first one I noticed who would take the feet out of the irons to try and relax horses. Does that work? What kind of an impact does that have?
It helps the horses relax a bit, because when you get in the posture of riding motion, when you pick your legs up and you go right on top of a horse's neck, they feel that tension, they feel that intensity, and it makes them engage the bridle. And when you put your legs down and you lean back a little bit, almost like you're leaning in a rocking chair, more in a recliner position, the horse kind of takes that initiative off the horse's back.
Ricardo Santana, Game Warden, trying to keep him settled, 4-1. For trainer Norm Cassie. And circling back, Raja, Yo Daddy, your top selection, currently 9-2. What's the key to success this afternoon?
Well, I really love this horse, and I think the key to success with him is in the early part of his races, he can get into a tussle with his rider. It's called being rank. He needs to get into a rhythm where he's flowing and he's breathing properly. If he gets into a fist fight with his jockey and he starts tossing his head, he loses concentration from running, exerts unnecessary energy, and burns himself out. So rhythm is key going into the first turn.
Yo Daddy, Jose Lascano seeking a second, took down the opener on this Jim Dandy Saturday. You can see the crowd. Crowd increases, and energy. You can feel it. Nothing like a Saturday at Saratoga. Coverage moving over to Fox at the top of the hour. Grade 1 Vanderbilt, Jim Dandy, presented by Mohegan Sun. Fox Saratoga Saturday at 3 o'clock. First things first, post time for the 5th. Up to Frank Nermati with the remainder of the load and call.
Game warden goes in. They're in the gate. And they're off. Have you heard out very quickly? Special dispatch has sharp early speed 2. Game warden from the far outside is up and on the pace, just 3 lengths off the lead as they move into the first turn. Who's the King is now racing in between horses as Have You Heard has the front end. It's Have You Heard in front. Who's the King had to steady ever so slightly with Special Dispatch now moving clearly into the second spot. They're followed by Game Warden fourth, 4 lengths off the lead. It's a gap of 4 to Pando on the outside of Yo Daddy. Then comes Collection Day and 1 in front of Strapped. The opening quarter went in 23 4/5 seconds. Have You Heard the controlling speed, 1.5 lengths, with Special Dispatch racing in second. Then comes Who's the King, Red Sleeves on hold in third, and Game Warden races fourth, 4 lengths off the pace, heading to the half-mile pole. It's another couple back to Yo Daddy, who is followed by Strapped on the inside of Pando, and then 5 back to Collection Day. 47 3 for Have You Heard. And Arad Ortiz Jr., Have You Heard a length. Special Dispatch keeping close in second. Another 1.5 lengths back to Who's the King, Game Warden. Game Warden now makes his move 3 wide. And Yo Daddy coming alive in the orange silks will make a 4 wide bid, but he's got some nice energy as they come toward the quarter pole. 4 of them across the track. Special Dispatch takes the lead away from Have You Heard. Yo Daddy on the far outside and Game Warden in the pink. Game Warden, Yo Daddy come past the 8th pole, 1-2. Game Warden digging in. Yo Daddy a 1/2 length back. 4 more to Strapped in third, 16th pole. Game Warden holding firm. Yo Daddy did his best, but could not catch Game Warden, who wins it 1.5 lengths. Yo Daddy was second. Strapped finished third. Photo for fourth between Who's the King and Special Dispatch.
If our audience could have seen Polly and Rajiv race riding each other on set, even more exciting than what was taking place on the track. Game Warden Ricardo Santana repels Yo Daddy the length of the stretch in the 5th at Saratoga.
My 20 years of riding experience, I never thought I would have got outridden by a Major League Baseball all-star.
Yeah, me and Rajiv, I said, Rajiv, he said, Yo Daddy, and I said, come on, Ricardo, let's go. And we both started, I think we ruined each other's suits. But yeah, we got the exacta home, 4-1, over 4-1 here, and Strapped, who ran on pretty well here late.
I was watching you two. I was watching you two. Game Warden, you know, what an effort. Wide on the first turn, wide up the backstretch, being coaxed along, routing the far turn. I said, he's going to spit the bit at some point, Paul. Ricardo Santana goes to work, and Game Warden just keeps digging and digging and digging.
It just seems like these dirt races, Rajiv, over and over again have been won by horses, and I know I'm saying it ad nauseum. Their last race is at Churchill Downs.
Yeah, I mean, and just the dynamics of this race switched when the 4 didn't break too good.
This is going to be good. Let's go to Acacia.
Always a pleasure to catch up with Jay Provenzano, Flying P, as Game Warden gets the win. Jay, he's the only horse that had the win at the 9 furlongs. How much of a difference do you think that made?
You know what? Norm said he was training really good. Ricky was getting on him, doing what he had to do in the morning. They both really loved him. At first, he looked a little dead on the board, and I was wondering why. Because of what you just said. He's the one that could get the distance. Ricky hustled him out of there, quarter-horsed him, you know, took a good position. He was sitting like 4th or whatever on the backside. I started smooching around the far turn, you know, to get him into driving. I saw another horse coming from behind him. I'm like, come on, Ricky, got to get going. He got going, and I was so happy to get, you know, Norm the win. It's our first win together, me and Norm, and that's good. And wow, what a week this has been.
We've seen you in the winner's circle a lot. You could tell losing the voice a little bit, cheering the horses home. But how special are all of those wins?
You can't replace it. I got a lot of friends that are here right now. It's just it's been amazing. Like, you know, there's people coming out of the woodworks rooting. You know, like I got all the ushers up by the box. It's an amazing feel. It's special here. You know what it is. It's Saratoga, baby.
Couldn't have said it any better. Congratulations, Jay. Enjoy it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
You heard that, Lafitte? Saratoga, baby.
Saratoga, baby, is right. Rajiv, you never had a chance. You had Jay riding against you. You had Ricky riding against you. You had Paul riding against you. You never had a chance.
I just want to know if Donna is there today, because, you know, if Donna is the good luck charm now. I think Jay was trying to make it see blacklist her. But
what a summer thus far. Jay Provenzano, another win. Game warden, $10 over. Yo Daddy, big effort. Yo Daddy just turned away too much game warden. 5 down on Jim Dandy Saturday. Coverage moving to Fox in 7 minutes. We're stepping aside. Or maybe not. No, we'll stay right here. And look ahead to that Jim Dandy, the traditional prep for the Travers a little bit later on. The storylines going in for the audience, for viewers just joining us. You have Sierra Leone, who's the favorite, the star-crossed star colt. There's the field. You have Seize the Gray, the Preakness winner. You have Fierceness, the champ. There's so much intrigue, Paul, going into this Jim Dandy.
No, you hit the nail on the head. You have Fierceness, like you said, the Derby favorite. You got Batten Down, who just won the Ohio Derby.
Yep.
Seize the Gray, the Preakness winner. Sierra Leone, 2 lengths away from being undefeated. Gold's Gold going in the right direction, and Pony Express coming in here out of nowhere. But I think that Pony Express might be worth a look here, Rashid.
2 of the most high-profile 3-year-olds are in this race, and they have questions to answer. When you think about Sierra Leone, you know, the Derby runner-up, is he going to put it all together and run straight? That's a big question, because if he does that, he could be a threat for champion 3-year-old. And then how can we not talk about Fierceness? I mean, he was ultimately the one that has the most baseline ability. He's brought the fastest numbers of the crop, and he's just a hit or miss. Is he going to round back into form today? A lot of questions.
Like, if he won by 5, would you be surprised? No, because his best race, he is just faster. Fierceness, the reigning champ. I know who you like. The audience knows who you like, but let's go ahead and make it official. Paulie, who wins today's Jim Dandy?
Yeah, I like Sierra Leone. I just think he's the best horse to this group. Now, Fierceness might run his race. If he does, I'll live with it. But I actually going to go back to my number when I played. I like 1-6. I think Gould's Gold's the other horse that's going to be sitting back there too as well, and can maybe sweep up second place.
Jim Dandy winner, Rajiv.
I think Sierra Leone is going to win the Jim Dandy. The stars have aligned for him today. The dynamics of the race is so suitable for him. It's loaded with speed. He's the only closer in the race, so that benefits him big time. And Fierceness hasn't raced since May, the first Saturday in May. That's a long time to come back and try to make your best performance. This might be a stepping stone for Fierceness and a coming out party for Sierra Leone.
You want your established stars to perform at a high level. It's good for the sport. We want to see Fierceness perform at a high level. You want to see the Preakness winner bring his best, and certainly Sierra Leone as well. So that's the Jim Dandy. The Grade 1 Alfred G. Vanderbilt. Skelly, does Steve Asmussen register his 5th win in the Vanderbilt? Did Skelly get out of the blocks clean today?
I think it's going to be a little tougher than people think, and the board is showing it. A lot of people thought Skelly would be under 6-5.
Yeah, those are live odds. This is next.
Live odds right there. And Baby Yoda, who loves this racetrack, is dangerous.
What I love about a race like this, a Grade 1 at 6 furlongs, it's an exciting race from start to finish, because the first part of it that everyone's going to be looking out for is what's the first quarter, because we might see a lightning first quarter and a fast fractions.
Nakatomi for you, Die Hard, Hans Gruber.
Did you pick Nakatomi?
No,
because that's my pick.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I'd actually if I would take a shot, I'd take a chance with the 4, Baby Yoda.
You guys are on the same team there. You weren't a few moments ago. Coming up next, Fox Saratoga Saturday on Fox. We'll see you on Big Fox. On Fox, getting started in moments. Fox Saratoga Saturday. The reigning champ, Fierceness, Ford trainer Todd Pletcher. First race since the Kentucky Derby, a disappointing 15th place finish. Sees the gray for the coach, D. Wayne Lucas. Preakness winner disappointed in the Belmont. What will he do this evening? We'll find out in the Jim Dandy over on Fox.